This is the day football fans have been waiting for since 3 months ago. And it all kicks off on Thursday, September the 7th, when the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, open up the defense of their Super Bowl championship against the upstart Detroit Lions. And it all ends and it culminates on Sunday night, February the 11th, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, for Super Bowl 58. Hello, friends, and welcome to the second under the TXN Sports World banner, but I believe it's our 11th or 12th overall, and it's our 2023 installment of the NFL Schedule Release Special. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined, as always, and it's only fitting, by the Phil Simms to my Jim Nance when it comes to the mothership side of things, Girl MF, Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If and when he comes in, we will most certainly catch him up on what he missed. I'm sure he'll be here a little bit later on. But for right now, myself and MF, we're going to guide you through the 2023 NFL schedule release. And wow. So MF, I mean, while we have a moment here, I mean, first time ever we're doing this live as it's happening. I mean, this is wow. I mean, unbelievable in itself. I mean, we've only done something like this twice before, 2021 and 2022 for the men's NCAA tournament selection special. But MF, I mean, schedule release. That's when you know football season is slowly and rapidly approaching.
Absolutely. And for a lot of, and you've been hearing it all day, if you've been following the NFL Network, ESPN, all of the major networks that covers the NFL, today is the day that a lot of the players are really excited for. Today is the day that the fans are excited for because of the fact that now you get to know who you're going to be playing. You get to know, if you're a fan of the NFL, some of the games that you want to see is, are you going to be on a prime time game? Are you playing a Thursday night game? Are you playing Sunday night? Are you playing Monday night? And that's exciting for yourself. Then there are those who get the fortunate opportunity of playing outside of the United States, either in England or as it may be this year, there's going to be 2 games in Frankfurt, Germany. Obviously, also your divisional opponents, especially for us in the AFC East. Anthony, with your Buffalo Bills, my Miami Dolphins, Michael Bullock's New England Patriots. We want to know where we're going to be facing off. How soon are we going to get a chance to play each other? There's been some rumors coming out that's been very fortunate for both of us, where for Miami, yes, they're going to be playing Buffalo, but it might be early in the year. We don't have to deal with that stupid cold like we did last year. And in hindsight for Anthony, I know you're going to be excited to hear this. Buffalo and Miami, the second time around, it won't be as hot as it was earlier in the year, like it was last season. So you're going to see some differentiating things coming up. Of course, the Thanksgiving games, we always get excited for the Turkey Day games. What games are we going to get? Who's going to be representing on Turkey Day? First time ever where you heard there's going to be a Black Friday game. So you want to talk about breaking the norm out of usual, a Black Friday game, which is traditionally normally meant for the NHL. The NHL normally has a Black Friday special game. Now the NFL is like, you know what? Let's jump into this little fray here. There's going to be a game on Christmas Day. There's a really big one on New Year's Eve. So we got that going. So there's a lot of things going on, obviously. And then, of course, Anthony, in just like we said, in just a matter of minutes, if it hasn't come up yet, it should come up any moment. We're going to have so many great matchups. Of course, the excitement level is through the roof. And like I said, we got a lot of games that are going to be coming out in just a matter of moments. Like I said, we knew this was going to happen. That's why we kind of were like a little bit hesitant about the drop, because We knew because everybody is flocking to NFL.com. Everybody's flocking to ESPN.com right now because the schedule is about to drop any moment. And once we do, we're going to jump in and it's going to get crazy. So the excitement level is through the roof. And like you said, from the kickoff, which we found out, yesterday was when they announced it, to now, and that's why we were a little surprised. We were like, so Kansas City, and remember, we were talking about this, debating about, who's going to be that team? Who's going to be that team? Is it Buffalo? Is it Philly? Maybe Miami? No, they went curveball on all of us and decided to give it to the Detroit Lions. Now, don't get me wrong. Detroit probably deserving of the moment. Congratulations, Detroit, for getting, because this is a major spotlight for them. But for you and me, Anthony, we're kind of a little bit disappointed because we were kind of hoping for a really good AFC opponent, and we kind of got left in the dust on that one.
Indeed, we did. And so with that, let's go over the details here while we anxiously await the official drop of all the weeks.
It's up. We got it.
Okay.
It's down.
Okay. NFL.com, ready?
Yep, it's in.
Okay. All right. Very good. So don't give me anything away. That's what I'm here for.
Nope, you got it, kid.
Okay.
I just wanted to confirm that. I just saw it drop.
Excellent. All right. So before we get into it, let's go over a few things. For those of you who may not have seen this special beforehand, let me briefly explain what we do here. We go week by week, which is 18 weeks of the regular season, and we pick out what we feel are the must-see games of each and every week, and we give our thoughts on it. And of course, MF and I will during these weeks we'll look at each week, and we'll decide which one we feel is the best one for us. So but of course we'll do all that formal stuff, when we get closer to the season and all that. But that's what we do on this show here tonight. Now, here it is now. This year's schedule release will be coming with a few twists. And the biggest one, well, as we've been seeing, is that the NFL has released several games before today. And some of those games already trickled out. The league's international slate will consist of 5 games, with 3 in London, England, and 2 in Frankfurt, Germany. The NFL will be holding a Black Friday game for the first time ever, and that will be streamed on Amazon Prime Video. The early announcements, well, they ended today when ABC and NBC, they revealed several games that will air on each of their networks. ABC through Good Morning America and NBC through the Today Show. This release will mark the 4th straight year that the schedule has come out in May. Before 2020, the NFL schedule was generally released in April, but the date got moved to May during the pandemic. The NFL liked the May release date so much that the league has decided to stick with it. And so let's take a look at, let's give away some of these things here. Thursday night opener in Kansas City. The defending Super Bowl champion annually plays host in the opening game of the season, which means that barring something unforeseen, the Kansas City Chiefs will be the home team in the Thursday night opener. And the NFL generally tries to avoid putting divisional games in the opener, and they obviously did that. And their home schedule had the Denver Broncos, the Vegas Raiders, the LA Chargers, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, MF's Miami Dolphins, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, and the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So the NFL had plenty of juicy games to choose from, including a possible Super Bowl rematch with the Eagles or an AFC Championship game rematch with Cincinnati. Sending JA-17 and the Bills to Kansas City for the opener would have also been an attractive option for the league. but obviously they did not do that. The International Series beginning in Week 4. The NFL will play games in London over 3 consecutive Sundays. On October 1st, 8th, and 15th, we'll let you know which games those are. In Weeks 9 and 10, the action will move over to Frankfurt, Germany on November the 5th and on November the 12th. Monday nights will be changing. The 2023 season marks the beginning of the new media contract, which will usher in some new changes. 2 of those changes will involve Monday night games. Not only will there be 3 Monday doubleheaders this year, up from only 1 last season, but listen to this, MF. The NFL, starting in Week 12, will also be able to flex Monday night games.
That will be huge.
Yes, absolutely. How about Christmas? How about a Christmas triple header that will make history? The NFL is planning to take over Christmas this year, and the league is going to do that by holding a December 25th triple header for the 2nd straight year. With Christmas falling on a Monday, that means we'll be getting the first Monday triple header in NFL history. And then New Year's Eve with a highly anticipated game. We'll let you know what that is. Teams could be given 2 Thursday games. The NFL owners approved a rule in March that now allows teams to play 2 short week games starting with this season. This means that several teams could end up playing multiple games this year on just 3 days rest. Every home and away opponent for all 32 teams, although we don't know the date and times for the moment, we do know who each team will be playing. And so with all that being said, it's dropped. It's ready. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy as good old MF, Michael Fletcher, and myself, and as soon as he gets here, Michael Bullock, take you through the release of the 2023 NFL schedule. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you, for the first time, the complete 2023 NFL schedule week by week. And let's start it off with week number 1. We got it, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It kicks off on Thursday night, September the 7th, when the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will open up the defense of their Super Bowl championship against the upstart Detroit Lions. Now, MF, do we want to go through all the matchups, or do we just want to do the notables like we've been doing?
I would probably say, because this is live, I would say let's express it. Let's give all the matchups out, and then we go with the ones that we're looking forward to, like we've done in the past.
Okay, fair enough. So, and we got plenty of time. So
yeah, we got all the time in the world. No need to rush.
No pressure. All right. So Detroit and Kansas City will start it off on Thursday, September 7th. The first Sunday of the season will be on Sunday, September 10th. And there will be, let me just count it up here, 5, 6, 7, 8. There will be 8 games that will be kicking off at 1 o'clock on Sunday, September 10th. 5 games will be kicking off all at 4:25 Eastern. There will be a Sunday night game, and there will be a Monday night game. So here we go. In the 1 o'clock window, first up, the Carolina Panthers squares off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and that game will be on Fox. 1 o'clock game on CBS. The Houston Texans square off against the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. 1 o'clock game on CBS. The Cincinnati Bengals will square off against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. Now, here's another new rule that I should have mentioned. All games are free agents. So CBS gets what they get, Fox gets what they get, even if it's intertwined, which I think is a great twist. So, and I say that because Fox has an AFC game here. 1 o'clock game on Fox, an AFC matchup. The Jacksonville Jaguars square off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. 1 o'clock game on CBS. How about an NFC game, MF? the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings at M&T Bank Stadium in Minnesota. 1 o'clock game, CBS. The Tennessee Titans square off against the New Orleans Saints at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. 1 o'clock on Fox, the San Francisco 49ers square off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And the final 1 o'clock game on Fox features the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Now to the 425 games. 2 games on Fox, 3 games on CBS. 425 game on Fox, the renewal of the oldest rivalry in NFL history. The Green Bay Packers, as they begin life without Aaron Rodgers, they will square off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. 425 on CBS, the Las Vegas Raiders square off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Denver. CBS 425 game, the Miami Dolphins square off against the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. 425 on CBS, the Super Bowl champion, or I should say the NFC champion, Philadelphia Eagles will head on the road to take on Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And the final 425 game of Week 1, the Los Angeles Rams squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. The first Sunday Night Football game of week number 1, the Dallas Cowboys will square off against the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And MetLife is also going to serve as the home for both primetime games in week number 1. They get Sunday night as the Giants host Dallas, and then Monday Night Football at 8:15. Now, of course, Sunday Night Football, as always, on NBC, of course. And at 8:15, this game will be simulcast on both ESPN and ABC. And it will also come on the 22nd anniversary of 9/11. You can imagine it's going to be an emotional night all around. The Buffalo Bills will take on the New York Jets with their new quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So that's the slate for week number 1. And as I look at this slate, well, I'll be honest, it's not the most exciting, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's the most underwhelming opening slate. One of the more underwhelming opening slates I've seen in some time. But Detroit and Kansas City, I mean, I'll give that a look. I mean, Detroit, as we all know, they came on like gangbusters towards the end of the year. They started very, very badly, and we were thinking, here we go, another year. But the league clearly bought into the hype because they came on very strongly, but they came up just a little short of making the playoffs. But that's a great young team. I think they could give Kansas City fits, but I think Kansas City's ultimately going to win that one. So, so the notable games of week number 1, I'll start it off. Detroit, Kansas City, definitely. I'll give Cincinnati and Cleveland a look. Battle of Ohio, that could be a good one. Keep an eye on Jacksonville and Indianapolis as well, because Jacksonville, the team that won the hearts of the nation last year, they'll be taking on Indianapolis, with another new quarterback and Anthony Richardson. So we'll see how that goes. Give a look to Tennessee and New Orleans. I mean, that could be an interesting matchup in the Superdome there. San Francisco and Pittsburgh, 2 of the most successful franchises in NFL history, 2 of the winningest Super Bowl teams of all time. That being in the early window, late window, Green Bay and Chicago, only because it is the most the oldest rivalry in NFL history. And of course, Green Bay, they'll be beginning life after Aaron Rodgers here, no question about it. Of course, you got the Miami Dolphins. What a matchup here! The Miami Dolphins and the LA Chargers. That's a good one there. Those are 2 dynamo offenses. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill and company. Jalen Waddle going up against Justin Herbert and those Dynamos down there in LA. That should be a fun one. Philly and New England, that I'm going to consider that the sleeper game of the week right there. Philly and New England. New England obviously has not been, the most exciting team there, but they haven't been as exciting as they once were. But they'll be hosting Philly. Philly, they came so close to winning the Super Bowl this past season, and I'm very curious to see how that one plays out. Rams in Seattle, always a fun divisional rivalry. I think that could be a fun game, provided. Let's be realistic. The Rams were the most disappointing team in the NFL last year, especially coming off a Super Bowl win the year before. Just had too many injuries, and we'll wait and see how that one plays out. Dallas and the Giants, that's going to be a good one on Sunday night. That first Sunday night game. Somebody will get a leg up in the NFC East, no doubt about that. Giants came out of nowhere. I thought they were the biggest surprise last year. My old friend Brian Daboll, who made Josh Allen who he is today in Buffalo, took his offensive talents and made that Giant team one of their most fun teams in a long time. Made it to the divisional round before Philadelphia absolutely smoked them. So definitely, they're definitely looking to prove last year was not a fluke. Dallas, of course, that's one of the great rivalries of all time. And the game that I believe, unless MF says otherwise, I think our first game of week number 1 has to be that Buffalo and Jets opener at MetLife. I mean, the anniversary of 9/11, I'm sure there's going to be an emotional ceremony before the game, because that will mark the 22nd anniversary of the day the world changed forever, September 11th. We all know that story. The Buffalo Bills, you know their history. Their Super Bowl window is not closing anytime soon. Josh Allen and company determined more than ever, and they want to prove that the AFC East still goes through them. They've won it 3 years in a row, but the New York Jets, they were similar to they were to the AFC what the Detroit Lions were to the NFC. I mean, look at the Jets. I mean, the Jets, started out really good, but then they did sputter down the stretch. But now you've got yourself a franchise quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and with those great young receivers such as Garrett Wilson in them. Oh my goodness, that's got potential to be something really fun. So with that, those are my standout matchups from week number 1. So MF, week number 1, Detroit, Kansas City starts it, and MetLife gets both primetime games. The Giants on Sunday night against Dallas, and the Jets hosting Buffalo in what very likely could be our game of the week in week 1, unless you see something different.
Yeah, I don't see anything right now that would the only other game maybe Miami and the Chargers. Maybe that might be the only other game that we might have to consider. But other than that, I don't think there's anything else that would be an argument here. Obviously, the Lions and the Chiefs kick it off. Like I said, I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a little bit of a different situation, but it is what it is. Panthers are going to have a very interesting season. So will the Texans as well. So Texans versus Ravens just got a little more interesting, because remember, the number 2 and number 3 overall picks went to Houston, and now they're going up against Lamar Jackson, who just got paid handsomely. Of course, Joe Burrow versus Deshaun Watson in week number 1. That could be an interesting matchup. Then the other ones that you said, the Niners and the Steelers, could be a sleeper matchup. But I really am excited for that late game window when you got Green Bay and Chicago. You got the Raiders versus the Broncos, 2 divisional matchups. You love divisional matchups right out of the gate. That's a great way to start it. You got Rams and Seahawks, another divisional matchup. And then you got 2 great Monday night games when you or two great nighttime games. The Sunday night with Dallas and New York. That's always fun. That's always exciting. And then Buffalo and the Jets. Normally, Buffalo has dominated the series lately, but now you got Aaron Rodgers to deal with. How's that going to change the rivalry? So, yeah, week one definitely looks very promising. Anthony, let's get into the week number 2.
All right, MF. Week number 2, I'll set it up for you, and then you can pick out your notables when I run down the list here. Season premiere of Thursday Night Football happens in week number 2. Amazon Prime Video, of course, and they're giving us a very good one to start it off. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. We have a total of, another 8 1:00 games. 2 games at 4:05, 2 games at 4:25 Sunday night, and this is the first of the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. So let's start it off here. Minnesota and Philly on that Thursday. So Sunday, September 17th, here we go. 1:00 game over on Fox. The Green Bay Packers square off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. 1:00 on CBS. The Las Vegas Raiders will square off against my Buffalo Bills from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, home opener for Buffalo. That's going to be a sight. Oh yeah, can't wait for that. Also on CBS at 1:00, good one here. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals, Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Over on Fox, 1:00 kickoff. The Seattle Seahawks square off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. 1:00 on Fox. AFC game on Fox. The Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. 1:00 game over on CBS. A rematch of last season's AFC divisional playoff. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, this time in Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. 1:00 game on Fox. The Chicago Bears will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And the final 1:00 game of week 2 over on CBS, another good one here. The Los Angeles Chargers battle it out with the Tennessee Titans at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. 2 4:05 games. Both these games will be on Fox. The New York Giants will square off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The other 4:05 game on Fox, the San Francisco 49ers square off against the Los Angeles Rams from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. 4:25 games on CBS. How about this matchup? The new Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets square off against the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And the other 4:25 game will feature the Washington Commanders squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field at Mile High in Denver. Sunday Night Football on NBC. We got ourselves a good old-fashioned Buddy Bowl grudge match between good old MF Michael Fletcher and Michael Bullock, as MF's Miami Dolphins will invade Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, and they will take on Michael Bullock and the New England Patriots. And I believe on that night, Tom Brady will be honored by the New England Patriots and owner Robert Kraft. Big story that came out this afternoon. And then the first Monday Night Football doubleheader on Monday night, September the 18th, 7:15 kickoff over on ESPN. It'll feature the New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. And then at 8:15 over on ABC, the Cleveland Browns battle it out with the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. All right, MF, you heard the matchups. Week number 2, what stands out?
Really, if you go right at the top, of course, the Vikings and Minnesota and Philadelphia right out of the gate almost has me a little salivating over that matchup. The Ravens and the Bengals, that's a divisional matchup. That's always exciting. You're going to have to keep a close eye on that one. Possible sleeper matchup with Seattle and Detroit. I think that one's going to be a lot more better than the experts may think. And then, of course, Kansas City and Jacksonville. That could also be an interesting matchup. Chargers and Titans I also have my eye on. The 49ers and the Rams I got my eye on. And then Dallas and the Jets could be a great one. But the game in blood red, you already know it, Florio. Patriots, Dolphins at Gillette, at Foxborough. Sunday night is a big one, exciting matchup to say the very least. Then you got, and then the Monday nighter, when you got the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know that's a big time rivalry game. They do not like each other at all. So expect some fireworks possibly at Heinz Field. Well, Erkshire Field, not Heinz Field, but Erkshire Field, I believe is the name of it. In Pittsburgh. So, Anthony, that's it for me. Give me your thoughts on week 2.
Yes, Minnesota and Philadelphia. That on that season premiere of Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. That's a good one for Al and Herbie to dive into. Let's see, Baltimore and Cincinnati. I mean, that's a great one right there. That's definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. Seattle and Detroit, yes, absolutely. I mean, last year those two teams had a very high scoring game in Detroit. No reason to think they can't have another one. The standout of when it comes to the early window, the standout game is the divisional rematch between Kansas City and Jacksonville. I mean, they played a very good divisional game back in January, which Kansas City just barely got by, and Patrick Mahomes got injured in that game, as we all know. So keep an eye out on that. Sleeper game of the week, definitely the Chargers in Tennessee. I mean, I'm definitely keeping an eye on that one. That could be a good one there. Justin Herbert and Derrick Henry could be a good one there. San Francisco and the Rams. You remember a couple of years ago, they battled in the NFC Championship game, won by the Rams in overtime. No, they held on to win. That's right. The Jets in Dallas. I mean, that's a great matchup right there. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets squaring off against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. That's gonna be a festive atmosphere. You know, Nance and Romo are gonna be all over that one. You know that. Miami and New England. We know the history. That's gonna be a Buddy Bowl grudge match between MF and Michael Bullock. It's going to be a very emotional night for Patriots fans, especially because Tom Brady is going to be honored during that game. Robert Kraft came out with that this afternoon. And I know, Bullock, I'm sure Bullock's going to have Bullock's going to be very emotional on that night. You know that. So see what happens there. The Monday doubleheader, it's not really the most attractive doubleheader both ways. They could be, I mean, those games are just okay. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So we'll keep an eye on them. New Orleans, Carolina, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Not the most exciting, but it is what it is. So that's all I can say on week number 2. So with that, let's move on to week number 3. Run down the matchups, and I'll start it off. Thursday Night Football on September 21st over on Prime Video. The New York Giants will square off against the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Sunday, September the 24th. I believe I see 9 1 o'clock games here. 9 1 o'clock games, 1 4:05 game, 2 4:25s. And 8:20, the Sunday Night Football, and then this will be the second of the Monday Night Football doubleheaders. So let's take a look at it. Thursday, September 21st, New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. 1 o'clock game on CBS. The Indianapolis Colts square off against the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Also on CBS at 1, the Tennessee Titans will square off against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. All these next few games will be over on Fox, starting with the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. Also at 1 o'clock on Fox, the New Orleans Saints against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Also on Fox, the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Denver Broncos squaring off against MF's Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. I believe that's going to be the home opener. Yes, that is the home opener. Home opener for your Dolphins, MF. Fox got a good one here. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. 1 o'clock on CBS. The New England Patriots will take on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford. Final 1 o'clock game on CBS. The Buffalo Bills squaring off against the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. One game at 4:05. CBS has it, and it's an NFC game, MF. The Carolina Panthers will take on the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. 4:25 on Fox. We have the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale. The other 4:25 game on Fox will feature the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Sunday Night Football, a renewal of one of the great AFC rivalries of all time, especially in the 70s. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium, the home of Super Bowl 58, mind you. Second Monday Night Football doubleheader. This one a little better. And we switched the networks around. 7:15 kickoff on ABC. The NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles will be squaring off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And then at 8:15 on ESPN, a rematch of Super Bowl 56. The Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. So that's the schedule for week number 3. So let's break it down here. Giants in San Fran, great way to jump off week number 3 there, no question about it. I like Indianapolis against Baltimore. That's a good one there. I'll give some love to Tennessee and Cleveland. That's an interesting matchup. That's a sleeper matchup right there. Let's see. Denver and Miami. That's another good one to keep an eye on. The Chargers in Minnesota. That's a very good interconference matchup. Justin Herbert and his arsenal against Kirk Cousins and his arsenal. Good matchup there. The Patriots and the Jets. Michael Bullock and his Patriots will get their first look at Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. And that's pretty much the standouts from the one window. Late window, I would have to say Dallas and Arizona. Maybe the best of those matchups. I'm not sure about those other matchups there, but we'll wait and see. Pittsburgh and Vegas. We know the history. Steelers, Raiders. One of the best rivalries in the AFC, especially in the 1970s. They met so many times in the playoffs, whether it was the AFC Championship game or in the divisional playoffs. Pittsburgh and Vegas. Oh, what a lot of history there, obviously. And then when it comes to the Monday Night doubleheader, first one, but the second one, rematch of Super Bowl 56, the Rams in Cincinnati. We'll see what happens in that one. So there isn't much more for me to add on to this. So MF, week number 3, what stands out to you?
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up with everything that you did, Anthony. So I'm almost in a full agreement with what you just said there. Obviously, starting it off, it's an okay Thursday night game. I'm not going to say that it's the best, but it is a pretty good one with the Giants and the Niners. Then, of course, once you get into the Sunday slate, Indy and the Ravens are one matchup. The other one, the Texans and the Jaguars, I think, could be a sleeper matchup. Chargers and Vikings, definitely. New England and the Jets, definitely. Keep an eye on that one. Once you get into the late window, Dallas and the Cardinals, and then you got the Steelers and the Raiders is because of the matchup more than anything else. Then, of course, like you said, the Monday night, you got to talk about that Super Bowl rematch between the Rams and the Bengals. I think that is going to really stand out more than anything else. So, really nothing more to say, Anthony. So, we just hit, I guess you could say, the quarter pole on the schedule. So, week number 4.
Yes, sir. Week number 4. and let's run it down when it comes to week number 4. And all right, we got a Thursday night game, and this is the first of the international games. By the way, I also see 1 o'clock, another round of 1 o'clock games spread out over CBS and Fox. 1 4:05 game on CBS, 2 4:25 games on Fox. A Sunday night game, and back to one Monday night matchup. And we're still in full no bye weeks yet. So kicks off Thursday, September 28th, Amazon Prime Video. And it features the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Sunday, October 1st, 9:30 a.m. kickoff. You know what that means. It's an international series game. And this game will be exclusively on ESPN Plus. And it will feature the Atlanta Falcons squaring off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe this is Tottenham Hotspur, I believe. So
no, this is Wembley.
Oh, it's Wembley.
This is the Cathedral of soccer. Yep, it's right. Wembley Stadium, London.
Of course, August 27th will also be hosting the AEW All-In pay-per-view as well. Yep. So big things coming for Wembley, no doubt about it. Atlanta and Jacksonville will be squaring off there at 9:30 a.m. on ESPN Plus. 1 o'clock games, we got 9 of them. So here we go. And what a way to start it off with what could be our game of the week in week number 4, unless we see otherwise. It's the Buddy Bowl for myself and MF. MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Minnesota Vikings against the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Denver Broncos against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns, First Energy Stadium, Cleveland. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against the Houston Texans, NRG Stadium in Houston. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Los Angeles Rams against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Also on Fox, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints from the Superdome in New Orleans. The Washington Commanders against the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. Fox got a good one here. The Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans, Nissan Stadium, Nashville. Good one for Fox. CBS at 4:05 will have the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi. 4:25 on Fox. Michael Bullock's New England Patriots squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The Arizona Cardinals against the San Francisco 49ers, Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, also on Fox at 4:25. Sunday Night Football. And for the second time in the NFL season, MetLife Stadium is going to host both primetime games of the week. Sunday Night Football, this could also be our game, MF. You don't know. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. And then on Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN, the Seattle Seahawks against the New York Giants, also from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford in the Meadowlands. So, all right, MF, week number 4. we got 2 potential games of the week on our end: Miami and Buffalo, and Kansas City and the Jets.
Those are definitely the standouts more than anything else. Then you got a sleeper matchup with the Browns and the Ravens to look at. And then once you get a little bit later on here, there's not much on the early window. Maybe Cincinnati and Tennessee. But if you're looking for a great matchup at 4:25, you got to look at that Patriot versus Cowboys. That really stands out. That's a marquee matchup. 2 of the biggest fan bases in football today. You got to know about the Cowboy fans. You know about the Patriot fans. That's going to be entertaining as all hell. And then, like you said, then you got the Jets and the Chiefs. And then a decent Monday nighter with the Giants and the Seahawks. So those are my matchups. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, Detroit and Green Bay. See how that looks. Of course, we'd be remiss not to talk about Atlanta and Jacksonville and London because we know the atmosphere of those international games. Always fun. Miami and Buffalo. Let's be realistic. They played 3 times, and all 3 times they produced instant classics. And the best part is, it looks like they might be evening it out here. They might be balancing it out. So the game in Buffalo will not be freezing, bone chilling cold with some possible snow or all that. And obviously, whenever the rematch is in Miami, it may not be as hot and humid as it was when they met in Miami last year, which I thought was a very big contributor to Miami winning that game in Miami last year. But they met all 3 times, and they all went down to the wire. So that very easily could be our game. But then again, Kansas City and the Jets is the other one. So it's going to be one of those two. I can tell you that right now, unless the records, of course, have it otherwise. But you never know. Let's see. Baltimore and Cleveland. Definitely, I would give that a look. Sleeper game of week number 4. I got to go with the Rams in Indianapolis. I mean, that's a fun little sleeper matchup there. Cincinnati and Tennessee. I mean, we all remember they met in that divisional round a couple of years ago when Cincinnati went on that surprise run to the Super Bowl. I don't see any reason why that can't be an exciting game. I mean, Burrow and company against Derrick Henry and company. Yeah, that's got potential right there. Fox got a great one on that one. Raiders and the Chargers. We'll see how that goes. New England and Dallas, definitely the standout late game. No question about that on Fox. Zona and San Fran, keep an eye on that one as well. That could be a good one. Of course, Kansas City and the Jets. That's the other game MF and I are looking at. That could easily be our game right there. It's very possible. So, and barring it all going well, we'll finally get to have Patrick Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. That's a quarterback matchup we have been dying to see, but circumstances have gotten in the way of it. But I got a good feeling about that one. And then Seattle and the Giants. That's an interesting matchup right there. That could be a fun one. So yeah, that's pretty much the standouts when it comes to week number 4. So with that, let's move on now to week number 5 and break it down for you. Amazon Prime Video, of course. Thursday Night Football. We also have the second of the international games, and I know for a fact this one's at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know because I saw the post because it involves my team here. A little spoiler alert. Let's see, 4, 5, 6. Well, we only have 6 1:00 games. I think this is probably when the bye weeks start, so I would have to imagine because I see 6 1:00 games. We have 4 late games, 2 4:05 games on Fox, 2 4:25 games on CBS.
Yes, there are 4 teams on. There are 4 teams on bye that week.
Yes, and on bye that week, and the bye week starting week number 5, and for that week, the Cleveland Browns, Los Angeles Chargers, Seattle Seahawks, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers will all be on bye that week. So, in case you're scoring at home, so here we go. Kicks off on Thursday, October 5th with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. The Chicago Bears against the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover. 9:30 a.m. on Sunday, October the 8th to start your Columbus Day weekend. 9:30 a.m. NFL Network. It will from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London. Who knows, MF? This could be ours. You don't know. It's possible. If the records prove it. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills could be a possible game for us right there. And then 1:00 on Fox, the Houston Texans squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. 1:00 on Fox, the Carolina Panthers against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. 1:00 on CBS, the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Also on Fox at 1:00. Good one here. The New York Giants against MF's Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And then 1 o'clock on CBS, the New Orleans CBS gets this interpromotional matchup. NFC at AFC. The New Orleans Saints will be squaring off against the New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And then the final game of the 1 o'clock slate, a division rivalry that MF and I had so much fun with, the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, formerly Heinz Field. So there's that. 2 4:05 games on Fox, and they will feature the Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium in Glendale. And the other one, the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles square off against the Los Angeles Rams from SoFi. 4:25 on CBS, the New York Jets will square off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Mile High. The other one, far more appealing, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs against the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. That could be our game right there, MF, as well. Sunday Night Football on NBC, a renewal of one of the great NFC rivalries of all time, the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. And then Columbus Day night, Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, the home of Super Bowl 58. So, all right, week number 5. You started off with Jacksonville and Buffalo and London. That's going to be a fun one. I really believe that could be a game for MF and I right there. Tennessee and Indianapolis. That's definitely another standout right there. The Giants in Miami. That's a good one right there. Fox got a good one there. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and the Giants against Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Yeah, that's got a good one there. Only because of the divisional rivalry significance, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. MF, you and I had so much fun covering this rivalry for many, many years. Whether it was the regular season or in the playoffs. Ravens Steelers, we had so many memorable fun ones in that rivalry. Cincinnati and Arizona, that's one to keep an eye on in the late window. Philly and the Rams, that's another one to keep an eye on. Kansas City and Minnesota, that's a very good game right there. Can you imagine that one? I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins squaring off. I mean, you got Juju Smith-Schuster and the rest, Travis Kelce and that great receiving core going up against Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Yeah, that's a great one right there. That's another game, MF, that we could have come week number 5. Dallas and San Francisco, we know the history. The playoff rivalry is more talked about, but they've had some good regular season games too. But they've met like 8 or 9 times in the playoffs, and it's one of the great rivalries in the history of the NFC. And then Green Bay and Vegas, Devontae Adams squares off against his former team for the first time, and that's a rematch of Super Bowl II. They met in Super Bowl number 2. So those are the standouts for week number 5. So, MF, when it comes to our side of things in week number 5, the two most standout for me, Jacksonville, Buffalo, in London, and Kansas City, and Minnesota.
Absolutely. Total agreement on that one. The only other game that I could think of that would also you might want to keep a close eye on, even though I know we're probably not going to cover it, but the Niners and the Cowboys. That, you know, like we said, that's the classic 1980s, 1990s rivalry. You know, when you had Montana, you had Rice, the triplets of Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and then, of course, the Steve Young, Ricky Waters teams with Deion Sanders and Deion on both sides, playing with the Cowboys one year, playing with the 49ers another year. That was always interesting to see. And just the sheer size of the battle. And even now, the Niners and the Cowboys have had a budding rivalry for years. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting matchup. There's not that many standout games, but there are some sprinklings of some good matchups in week number 5. So, Anthony, let's move on to week 6.
Okay, week number 6. 2 teams on bye that week. Those 2 teams, the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's remind you that. So, all right. So let's move on to the slate for week number 6. It kicks off on Thursday night, October the 12th. Amazon Prime Video. The Denver Broncos squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The third of our London games. Now, is this one at Wembley or Tottenham?
I believe this one is in Tottenham, I believe. Let me just double check something.
All right. While MF gets which London stadium this game will take place, it'll be a 9:30 a.m. kickoff on the NFL Network. It will be, and this is a good one here, the Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Tennessee Titans. And that game will be in London. Trying to find out if it's either Wembley or if it's Tottenham. But regardless, that game will be in London. Baltimore.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Tottenham. Okay, Tottenham will have it. So Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, NFL Network, 9:30 a.m. Baltimore and Tennessee to start it off. We have 8 1:00 games for week number 6. Starting it off with the Washington Commanders squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We also have the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field. By the way, that Washington-Atlanta game will be on CBS. And Minnesota and Cincinnati on Fox. CBS gave us a good one here. Gave us a good interconference matchup here. The Seattle Seahawks and the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. MF, that could be a game for us right there. You never know. On Fox at 1:00 also, we will have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. 1:00 on Fox, the New Orleans Saints against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. CBS at 1:00, the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Also at 1 on CBS, the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Another interconference game on CBS. And then rounding out the slate at the 1:00 slate for week 6 on Fox, the Detroit Lions and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. 4:05 kickoff on CBS. And it's exactly as it was. Well, the only thing different is the network. Fox had this game last year. This time around, CBS will have it. As it'll be Michael Bullock's New England Patriots squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from the home of Super Bowl 58, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. 2 4:25 games on Fox. Both of them have potential to be good. We got the Arizona Cardinals and the LA Rams from SoFi. But I think this will probably be the more standout for the Fox crew. 4:25, the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets from MetLife. 8:20 kickoff, Sunday Night Football on NBC. A rematch of Super Bowl 25. The New York Giants squaring off against my Buffalo Bills from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Brian Daboll returns to Buffalo. You remember Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. He's the guy who made Josh Allen who he is today. And I'm sure there's going to be an emotional reunion between Brian Daboll and Josh Allen prior to that game. But Brian Daboll takes his new team, the Giants, into Buffalo against the Bills. That's going to be a good one. And then Monday Night Football at 8:15 on ESPN. Good one here as well. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, the home of this past WrestleMania. So MF, week number 6, what stands out?
Yeah, well, we got to start out in Tottenham Hotspur. The Ravens and the Titans. I think that's going to be a really good matchup. Of course, the sleeper matchup between Seattle and Baltimore. Against the Bengals. I'm sorry. Seattle and Cincinnati, I should say. That's a sleeper matchup in itself. Then once you get later in the 1:00, there's not that really many games that really stands out. Not until you get to the 4:25s. Then you got the Cardinals and the Rams. That could be an interesting one. Eagles and Jets. It's going to be fun. And then, of course, the Sunday nighter, the Giants and the Bills, and then the Monday night between the Cowboys and the Chargers. I think you got yourself some really good matchups, especially towards the end. Anthony, back to you.
All righty. So with that, let's move on to week number 7. And let me pull it up here. Week number 7. Of course, Thursday Night Football starts it off. And then we have 6 1 o'clock games, 4 late games. We have 2 4:05 games, 2 4:25 games, Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. 6 teams on bye in week number 7. The Carolina Panthers, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans, the New York Jets, and the Tennessee Titans. So let's take a look at the week 7 slate, starting off with Thursday Night Football, October 19th on Amazon Prime Video. The Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. 6 1 o'clock games, and here they are. Starting on Fox, the Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. That's a good one there. Also on Fox, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. CBS at 1 o'clock, the Cleveland Browns against the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. 1 o'clock on CBS, Buddy Bowl, myself versus Michael Bullock, as it'll be my Buffalo Bills squaring off against Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Also on CBS at 1 o'clock, the Washington Commanders taking on the New York Giants from MetLife. And then rounding out the 1 o'clock slate on Fox, the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Late window, 2 games at 4:05 on Fox. They are as follows. Started with a rematch of Super Bowl 14. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Rams from SoFi. Those 2 teams met in Super Bowl 14 in the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Also, we will see the Arizona Cardinals take on the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. 2 4:25 games on CBS. First one features the Green Bay, another Super Bowl rematch. How about Super Bowl 32? The Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Mile High. And then at 4:25 on CBS, the Los Angeles Chargers squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead. And then Sunday Night Football on NBC. Oh, MF, you got yourself a good one. This could be our game come week number 7. It very well could. MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And then Monday Night Football to close out week 7, a matchup featuring the San Francisco 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Okay, week number 7, Detroit and Baltimore. When it comes to the early window, Detroit and Baltimore, that's definitely a good one right there. That's a sleeper game right there. Another sleeper game, I would say Cleveland and Indianapolis. But these stand out. It's Buffalo and New England. I mean, not just because it's myself against Bullock, but Buffalo and New England. We know the history here. And then from there, late window, Pittsburgh and the Rams, Super Bowl 14 rematch. That could be an interesting matchup there. Arizona, Seattle. We'll see how that goes. The Chargers in Kansas City. I mean, always exciting when those 2 square off, especially at Arrowhead. But I think the standout game of week number 7 is that Miami-Philadelphia matchup on the Sunday night. Oh, wow. That's a good one. Miami and Philly, Sunday night, yowza. That's going to be a shootout. Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle going up against Jalen Hurts. And the rest of that core, yikes. If MF, you love defense, that's not the game for you. For those of you who like offense like I do, high scoring affairs, this is the game for you. And then San Francisco and Minnesota, that's definitely worth a look on Monday night. But then again, if I remember correctly, we could be in baseball playoff mode by then. So we might have to miss out on that. But nonetheless, MF, as I give it to you for week number 7, when it comes to our side of the ledger, the standouts, Buffalo and New England, the Chargers in Kansas City. but I think the standout is Miami and Philly.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. No arguments here. Like you said, we got to start it. Once you do that, the Lions and the Ravens are a nice little standout. And then, of course, Buffalo and New England, sleeper matchup more than anything else. Steelers and Rams could be good. Cardinals and Seahawks on the late window. But yeah, the two that really stand out of every other, Kansas City and the Chargers. You know that rivalry is ferocious. You know, tempers always flare when these two go at it, and a lot of times it's one score games when that happens. And then Miami and the Eagles, that's going to be wild. Being in Philly, there's really nothing more to add. So yeah, Anthony, let's move on to the next week.
Yeah, when it comes to that Charger Chief rivalry, two of those great. I mean, no, actually, three of those games featured classic Thursday night games. The Thursday nighter last year, but the two that we most remember, MF, that wild shootout in 2018 in Kansas City that the Chargers stole, and of course, what about that one where Kansas City and the Chargers threw down at SoFi, and Kelce walked it off in overtime? I mean, and we had that broadcast live as it happened, so that made it even more fun. So, but Chargers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles, those are the two standouts for game of the week on our side when it comes to week number 7. All right, week number 8, and let's see what week number 8 has in store for us. Okay, just took a moment here. All right, here we go. Look up week number 8, and just waiting for it to load up here. It's taking a moment here, but bear with me for a moment. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm doing pretty good so far, but it's holding up for a moment, a little on the frozen side. But okay, I think it's coming up. All right, here we go. All right, here it comes. All right. Oh, gotta wait till it comes up. All right, there we go. 4, 5, 6. Okay. For week number 8, I see, of course, our traditional Thursday night matchup. And we also have 9 1:00 games. We have 4 late games, 1 4:05 game, 3 4:25 games, Sunday night football, and Monday night football. And no buys in week number 8. So here we go. It kicks off on Thursday, October 26th with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. And it will feature the Tampa Bay Buccaneers squaring off against my Buffalo Bills from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. You know I'll be all over that one, me personally. Sunday, October 29th, 9 1:00 games, and they are as follows. The first 4 of these 1:00 games, all of these are on Fox. Let's keep that in mind. These first 4 games. The Houston Texans squaring off against the Carolina Panthers, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte. Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field, Green Bay, and a rematch of Super Bowl 44, the New Orleans Saints and the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Those 4 games all on Fox. And these next 4 games will all be on CBS. Bullock and MF Part 2. Michael Bullock's New England Patriots squaring off against MF's Miami Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The Battle of New York. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets against Daniel Jones and the Giants, MetLife. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers from Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And then the Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Those 4 games I just mentioned, all on CBS. And then the final 1:00 game that will be on Fox, the second meeting between the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. 1 4:05 game on Fox, and it will feature the Cleveland Browns squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. 3 4:25 games on Fox, and here they come. The Baltimore Ravens squaring off against the Arizona Cardinals, State Farm Stadium in Glendale. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, taking on the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Mile High in Denver. A rematch of Super Bowl 23 rounds out that 425 slate. The Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Chicago Bears squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi. And then rounded out with Monday Night Football the night before Halloween on October 30, when the Las Vegas Raiders square off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. And Matt, I reckon it'll be right around World Series time for us, so we'll probably have to miss out on this week. But when it comes to Week 8 for our side of the ledger, for what could be our game, the game of the week that is, you got New England and Miami, you got the Battle of New York, Jets and Giants, you got Baltimore and Arizona, and Cincinnati and San Francisco. Week number 8, what stands out?
Yeah, week number 8. Once you see all these matchups pop up, look, I gotta also talk about the Rams and the Cowboys. That one really stands out for me as well. I think that one's gonna be good. Of course, New England, Miami. That will be the rematch from week number 2. Then, of course, like you said, the Battle of New York will be a huge one. That's gonna drive a lot of people to see that one, very much so. Once you get into, there's not really much other early games. Once you get into the late games, the only one that really sticks out for me late game, Cincinnati and San Francisco.
Definitely.
That could be the game more than anything else. Obviously, the Sunday Nighter is a decent one, not great, but could be okay. And if they would have had the flex scheduling, I think the Monday night would get flexed. I'm sorry. I just don't see that matchup holding up with the Raiders versus the Lions. I know the flex scheduling is not in effect at that point, but if it did, this game might get flexed. Yeah, that's all I'm just saying.
That's a dud.
Yeah. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
All right. So with that, let's move on to week number 9.
We be halfway home at this point.
Yes, indeed. This will put us at the halfway mark. And I'm almost certain we might be done with our World Series commitments. Hopefully we will be, because I see some standouts right off the bat. So when it comes to week number 9, Thursday Night Football starts it always. The first of the 2 games in Germany, Frankfurt, Germany. Let's consider that. 1 o'clock games. We have, I believe 7 here. Yep, 7 1 o'clock games. 3 late games, 1 at 4:05, 2 at 4:25. Sunday Night Football, and then Monday Night Football. Do we have any teams on bye in week number 9? Yes, we do. 4 teams on bye in week number 9. They are the Denver Broncos, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to tell you all right now, I'm seeing these for the first time, all right? I didn't do any spoiler looking. Once MF said the schedules were released, I'm like, I want to be surprised. I'm telling you right here and right now, as I look at week number 9, when it comes to our side of the ledger, MF, I think this is the best one so far yet. Oh,
yeah. I do. I agree with that too.
Any of these could be our game.
Good luck. Well, we're gonna have. We're gonna be freaking out here because, like we said, I haven't seen it. I just skimmed it just a second ago, just to get my thoughts in. And oh my God, week 9's gonna kill us.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have a time and a half to try to deal with that.
As I'm looking at it right now, 2, 3, I see at least 4 standouts. Maybe a 5th, but I'm not sure. But at least 4. I see 4 standouts easy. But here we go. Well, week number 9, it kicks off Thursday, November the 2nd. Amazon Prime Video, Thursday Night Football. The Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. 9:30 a.m. NFL Network, Frankfurt, Germany. This could very easily be the game right here. But then again, we got some other standouts as well. MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill goes up against his former team. to kick it off. Frankfurt, Germany. And then from there, 7 1 o'clock games on Fox. First one is at 1 o'clock on Fox. The Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. A cross-flexing thing, of course, we know they're doing more of that. They're going to be doing that from now on. 1 o'clock on CBS. We got a good one here. This is another standout right here. The Seattle Seahawks and the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Also on CBS at 1 o'clock, the Arizona Cardinals squaring off against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Washington Commanders taking on Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. And then to round out the 1 o'clock slate, the Chicago Bears squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Late window, 4:05 on CBS, the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. 2 4:25 games on Fox, and here they come. The New York Giants taking on the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And then the other 4:25 game, which will very likely will be America's game of the week right here. The Dallas Cowboys and the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles from Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. Sunday Night Football on NBC. MF, I think we have the winner right here, unless the records prove otherwise. The game we should have done last year, but unfortunately had to get scrapped because of the unfortunate the unfortunate incident with Damar Hamlin. The Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals, Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And then rounded out on Monday Night Football with the Los Angeles Chargers taking on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets at MetLife. Yowza. No, let me rephrase that. One of the great Chic songs of all time by the band Chic back in the 1970s. They had a song called Yowza, Yowza, Yowza. Look it up. It's a hell of a tune. That's immediately what comes to mind when I see these matchups. I mean, Tennessee and Pittsburgh, that's no slouch. Tennessee and Pittsburgh had some great games back in the day. I don't think it's going to be our game, but Tennessee and Pittsburgh definitely will be in that upper echelon. Miami and Kansas City. Frankfurt, Germany. Oh, Tyreek Hill going up against his former team. I mean, very, very easily, this could be the game of the week right here. Seattle and Baltimore, that's another standout. I mean, that's another sleeper matchup right there. Keeping, I suppose, Arizona and Cleveland, that could be a sleeper matchup. And then from there, nothing really else stands out in the one window. The late window, the first two games, not all that exciting, but Dallas and Philadelphia, that's the big game on the Fox side of things. But Sunday Night Football, Buffalo and Cincinnati. Back in January of this year, January the 2nd, we all remember it. MF and I, we remember it vividly. That was our game. The game got underway. Cincy jumped out to a big lead early. It looked like they were on their way to beating the hell out of Buffalo. And then, unfortunately, that's when Damar Hamlin suffered that cardiac arrest that we thought he lost his life. And the scariness of that, it was the atmosphere and the feeling in there was just so uncomfortable and so scary that, not only did the league call off the game, but we also called off our scheduled edition of Ridiculously Raw that night because we were all shaken up from it. We were way too shaken up to do a show. But that's immediately what comes to mind. They did eventually meet in the divisional playoff on a snowy day in Buffalo, and Cincinnati absolutely took it to Buffalo in that game, to the surprise of a lot of people, but not MF. MF had that one all the way, so I give you credit for that one. And then close it out with Monday Night Football, the Chargers and the Jets. That could be our game as well. You don't know. We don't know how these records will play out, but you heard all those standouts, MF, as I give it to you for week number 9. But the two standouts, D2, Miami and Kansas City in Germany, and Buffalo and Cincinnati on Sunday night. Yowza.
And then you also got to talk about the Chargers and the Jets. That's a three-headed monster right there, folks. Any one of those three games could be the major difference there, without a doubt. That's an exciting lineup. And then also Tennessee and Pittsburgh as a sleeper matchup. So, like you said, we got to sell some really good NFL action in week number 9, and just those matches alone just has me all excited and just I can't wait. I can't wait for those matchups. I think we got to sell some great battles, to say the very least. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of excitement, and there's really nothing more to add. So Anthony, it's yours.
All right, MF. Let's move on to as we get into double digits now, week number 10, and as we look at week number 10, let's take a look at it as it loads up. Thursday night, and then, of course, we have the fifth and final international game, the second one from Frankfurt, Germany. 4, 5. We have 6 1:00 games. We have 4 late games, 2 at 4:05, 2 at 4:25. Sunday night, Monday night. We have 4 teams on bye this week. The Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, the year before's Super Bowl champion LA Rams, MF's Miami Dolphins, and the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles will all be on bye in week number 10. Week number 10, I can tell you right now,
not good. Not good.
Reluctantly, we're going to have to do one, but we'll figure it out. All right, Thursday Night Football starts it off. Prime Video, the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field in Chicago. 9:30 a.m. NFL Network, Frankfurt, Germany, the Indianapolis Colts squaring off against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Houston Texans against the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. 1 o'clock on Fox, the San Francisco 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. 1 o'clock on Fox, New Orleans Saints and the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Final 2 games rounding out the slate for CBS at 1 o'clock. The Green Bay Packers against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Acrisure Stadium now. And the other 1 o'clock game on CBS, the Tennessee Titans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. 4:05 on CBS, the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium in Glendale. The Detroit Lions against the LA Chargers from SoFi at 4:05 on CBS. Fox, 4:25, the New York Giants taking on the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. The other 4:25 game on Fox features the Washington Commanders squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. 8:20 on NBC Sunday Night Football, the New York Jets taking on the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. And then rounding out week number 10, Monday Night Football on ESPN, the Denver Broncos taking on the Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. MF, week number 10, if I could sum it up in one word, yikes.
Yeah, not the greatest matchups that we were looking at, but, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But, the first ones that I'm looking at is, not really the best Thursday night game. I'm sorry. Then you do got a good one then you do have a good matchup in Frankfurt, Germany. I think the Colts versus the Patriots could be a sleeper matchup more than anything else. It maybe by default that could be our game. I don't know. And then from there's not really much for us to look at here. Maybe Green Bay and Pittsburgh is one. Tennessee and Tampa Bay is another. And then once you get into the late games, even the late games, maybe Dallas and the Giants, very, very, very lackluster. Even Buffalo and Denver, not really an exciting card here. Week number 10's got maybe a couple of games that are good, but there's not much in this lineup that really stands out here, Anthony. The 4 best teams that The 4 teams that went on by, there's some powerhouses. When you lose Kansas City, Miami, the Rams, and the Eagles that week, ouch, man. That you lost some beef there. So especially on the bye week. So when you lose those teams and then you look at that lineup, week 10 looks a little weak on the fight card.
Definitely. But I kind of do see a standout game. What about Detroit and the Chargers? That could be a good one.
It's possible, yes.
That's one I think we should keep an eye on, really.
Yeah, possible, yeah.
And it's on the network. So, but Indy and New England in Germany, obviously. Cleveland and Baltimore, I say that's worth a look. San Fran and Jacksonville, that's a standout for the Fox side. Green Bay and Pittsburgh, rematch of Super Bowl 45. That was a fun one in Arlington years ago. Detroit and the Chargers, that's the standout for me. Giants and Dallas, and that's really it. So that's not so good when it comes to week number 10. So, all right, week number 11. Hopefully, we'll get some better matchups here as I wait for it to load. I'm seeing it for the first time. I have not seen any of these yet. Keep in mind. So, okay. Thursday night football, of course. We also have 8 1:00 games, 3 late games, Sunday night, Monday night. Well, 4 teams on bye in week 11. The Atlanta Falcons, the Indianapolis Colts, Michael Bullock's New England Patriots, and the New Orleans Saints. I think we may have to use our cross-flex privilege on this one in week 11, if you know what I mean. But week number 11 starts off on Thursday Night Football on November the 16th, Amazon Prime Video, featuring, and this is a good one here, the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens. M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, that's an immediate standout right there. Let's see. The 1:00 games are as follows. First on Fox, the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. CBS will have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. 1:00 on Fox, the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. Also on Fox, the Los Angeles Chargers against the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau. CBS will have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. Also on CBS, the Tennessee Titans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Also on CBS, the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And then rounding out the 1:00 slate on Fox, the New York Giants taking on the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Late window, 4:05 on Fox, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Another standout when it comes to the our side of it. 4:25 on CBS, Rodgers versus Allen 2. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets taking on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. That's another standout. Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. That's a sleeper game right there. SoFi, also on CBS. Sunday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Denver Broncos. And then Monday Night Football, November the 20th, Super Bowl 57 rematch, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead. Okay, a little better than week 10. We got Cincinnati against Baltimore. Immediate standout right there. Early window doesn't really look all that appetizing. I would say maybe Tennessee and Jacksonville, maybe the standout, maybe Chargers and Green Bay. I don't know. But those other ones don't really look all that good to me, all that appealing to me. Late window, Jets and Buffalo, Rodgers versus Allen 2. That could be our game right there. Seattle and the Rams, that's another one to keep an eye on. But the Super Bowl rematch, Philadelphia and Kansas City. All right, MF has stepped away. So, all right, let me know when you're back in. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a better slate for week number 11, but we have a few more standouts than we did in week number 10. I mean, when it comes to our game of the week, Cincinnati and Baltimore could be that game. Jets and Buffalo, that's another standout. Seattle and the Rams, that's a sleeper standout. And then, of course, if we wanted to, I mean, we could invoke a cross flex situation here and take the rematch of Super Bowl 57 with Philadelphia and Kansas City at Arrowhead. So those are the ones that are immediately standing out to me. Those are hands down the standouts of week number 11. And all I can say when it comes to it is the ones that really stand out to me, Rodgers and Allen. We'll see how the first game goes on that opening week, but that, Nance and Romo are going to be all over that one. That could be our game as well. You don't know, depending on how the records look by the time we get to that game. But Philadelphia and Kansas City, man. I mean, what a Super Bowl we witnessed back in February. I mean, it was an all-timer. It was a 5-star classic. Unfortunately, there was a late penalty that unfortunately killed that game. All right, MF's ready to go. So I've shared my standouts of week 11. So MF, looking at week 11, it's a little better than what we saw in week number 10. Not much better, but it is a little better. 4 standouts on our side: Cincinnati, Baltimore, Jets, Buffalo 2, Seattle and the Rams. But we have the Super Bowl rematch, Philly and Kansas City. Could that perhaps be a cross-flex injunction there?
There's a very good possibility we could see a cross-flex injunction on that one. I definitely totally agree with that it could definitely be a cross-flex. Cincinnati, Baltimore, right out of the gate, that one stands out more than anything else. Then you get, maybe Tennessee and Jacksonville as a sleeper matchup, Buffalo and the Jets, no doubt about it. And then you do get the Rams and the Seahawks as a cross flex. And then not only that, but the rematch of last year's Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football. I don't think we can say anything more than that. That could be the matchup of all matchups. That could be our game as well, Florio. Cross flex and everything else. Whenever you get a Super Bowl rematch, it automatically puts the ears up and definitely has our attention.
Most definitely. So with that, let's move on to week 11, or I should say week number 12.
Yep.
And guess what, friends? In week number 12, we're going to be celebrating Turkey Day the ravishing way. Yes, sir. Thanksgiving, baby. The 3 games on Thanksgiving. And I'm going to tell you all right now, they're all divisional rivalries, number 1. And number 2, they're all from the NFC. We're not going to see one AFC team on Thanksgiving this year.
Well, that means we got our day off for Thanksgiving.
Well, and for the first time ever, this is the Black Friday game, which you don't know. It could be this one. It's very possible, depending on how the records look by the time we get to it. On Friday, November 24th, that's Black Friday. There will be a Black Friday game. And then on Sunday, November the 26th, 6 1 o'clock games, 2 4:05 games, 2 4:25 games, Sunday night, Monday night, bye weeks, no teams on bye. MF, I already see our game for week number 12, and it's not even close.
Yep.
But let's break it down anyway. It all starts on Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November the 23rd. First up at 12:30 on Fox, the Green Bay Packers take on the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. 4:30 on CBS, the Washington Commanders take on the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And then in prime time on Thursday Night Football on NBC, the San Francisco 49ers take on the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. For the first time ever, a Black Friday game in the NFL, a special kickoff time of 3 p.m. Eastern on Amazon Prime Video. And this could be our game. You don't know. It could be. MF's Miami Dolphins taking on Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey in the Meadowlands. So that's that. Sunday, November 26th, 1 o'clock games. On Fox, the New Orleans Saints take on the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. On CBS, the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, to be followed by the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. That's CBS as well. And also on CBS, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Indianapolis Colts. Fox will have a rematch of Super Bowls 42 and 46. Michael Bullock's New England Patriots taking on the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. 1 o'clock on Fox to round out the 1 o'clock slate. The Carolina Panthers taking on the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville. 2 4:05 games on Fox. They will feature the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, to be followed by the Cleveland Browns against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Denver. 4:25 on CBS, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas Raiders from the home of Super Bowl 58, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. MF, I think I found our game of the week. 4:25 on CBS. How does this sound? My Buffalo Bills taking on the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Financial Field.
What a game.
Oh, boy. And then a good Sunday, and we got a good Sunday night one, too. How about Lamar Jackson, Odell Beckham Jr., and the Baltimore Ravens taking on Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers at SoFi? That could be our game. You don't know.
Yeah.
And then Monday Night Football to round it out, the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. MF, easily the standouts, Buffalo and Philadelphia, Baltimore and the Chargers. We've also got Miami and the Jets as a potential game here. But of course, when it comes to Week 12, we'd be remiss if we ignored the Thanksgiving games. And of course, when you get 3 of those on Thanksgiving, there's no better way to celebrate Turkey Day the ravishing way than that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And the thing is that sometimes whenever we get these matchups, we always wonder, all right, what's going to be the games? We know Detroit's going to get one. We know Dallas is going to get one, but it's always the third game. That's always the one that we always try to keep our eyes on. What's going to be the third? What is going to be the third matchup? What game there is going to stand out among the rest? And the next thing we know, we get Green Bay and Detroit. Great matchup. We get Washington and Dallas. Now, on paper, this is supposed to be Dallas's game pretty easily, no doubt. The third one, the Niners and the Seahawks. Whoa, that's a good one. That's a good one for the third game. So I'm definitely very interested to see how that plays out. And then, of course, first time ever Black Friday game. And it's a takeover MetLife for all the Miami Dolphin fans. That's a game that we've always talked about. That's the game we always try to bark about, that we want. And that's going to be an interesting one. And then once you go into the Sunday slate, Steelers and Bengals, that's going to be a good one. Like you said, the Super Bowl 42-46 rematch, Giants and Patriots, that's going to be a fun one. Then we got a very good divisional matchup between Kansas City and the Raiders. But yeah, like you said, the final 2 games on that Sunday slate could easily be ours. Bills, Eagles from the link. And then you got the Ravens and the Chargers from SoFi. Oh, man. The back end is nuts on Thanksgiving weekend. No doubt about it. Really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. Of course, Thanksgiving, Green Bay, Detroit, Washington, Dallas, San Fran, Seattle, because it's Thanksgiving Day. No better way to celebrate it than with the football there. Miami and the Jets, first ever Black Friday game in NFL history. Amazon Prime Video, special start time of 3 o'clock. That could be our game. Very possible. You don't know. Depends on how the records go by the time we get to it. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati always stand out. New England and the Giants, that's a good one that Fox has. Really the only standouts from that early window. The late window, Rams and Arizona. But Buffalo and Philly, that's the game right there. I think that's the game right there. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and their dynamic offenses, that's most certainly got shootout potential right there, no doubt about that. Baltimore and the Chargers, that's a sleeper matchup, and that's pretty much the standouts when it comes to week number 12. So with that, let's move on to week number 13. And let's see what we have here. Okay. All right, week number 13. And 6 teams on bye in week number 13. They are the Baltimore Ravens, my Buffalo Bills, the Chicago Bears, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Giants. So let's take a look at week number 13. Kicks off on Thursday Night Football on Thursday, November 30th. Amazon Prime Video. It returns after a 1-week hiatus for Thanksgiving. You will see the Seattle Seahawks take on the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. That's a good one right there. Another standout matchup, a sleeper matchup here. CBS, 1 o'clock. The Los Angeles Chargers against Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Over on Fox, the Detroit Lions take on the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Also at 1 on Fox, the Atlanta Falcons against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets from MetLife. CBS will have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, Super Bowl 43 rematch. Another one of MF and I's all-time favorite Super Bowls. You know how that one ended. Arizona and Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh at Acrisure Stadium. Also at 1 on CBS, an NFC South Division matchup, the Carolina Panthers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Also at 1 o'clock on CBS, the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans. And then to round out the 1 o'clock slate on Fox in week 13, MF's Miami Dolphins on Fox taking on the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Late window, 4:05 on CBS. You have the Denver Broncos taking on the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. 4:25 on Fox, the Cleveland Browns against the Los Angeles Rams. America's Game of the Week, the rematch of last year's NFC Championship game, the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. Sunday Night Football, a rematch of the very first Super Bowl, Super Bowl I, as Patrick Mahomes and the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs take on the Green Bay Packers from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And then close out week number 13 with a very intriguing Monday Night Football matchup. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. All right, week 13, Seattle and Dallas. Good one to start off on the Thursday night. Chargers and New England, that's a sleeper matchup right there. No question about that. Then from there, Arizona and Pittsburgh. That's another sleeper potential. Indianapolis and Tennessee. We'll see how that plays out. Cleveland and the Rams, that's a possibility. Of course, the standouts, San Francisco and Philadelphia, NFC Championship rematch. Hopefully, it'll be a far more entertaining game than that dud of a championship game we had in January. Kansas City and Green Bay, only because, these two teams met in the very first Super Bowl in Super Bowl I. We'll see how that plays out. But Cincinnati and Jacksonville is becoming an intriguing matchup. So that very well could be our game. You don't know. It's possible. So not much more to say on that. So MF, your thoughts on week number 13?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Like we said, we're going to start off with a decent one with Seattle versus Dallas. I think it's going to be an interesting one to start out. And then you got the Chargers and then you got the Chargers and the Patriots, which could be an interesting matchup on the early window. Then after that, then once you go down, then you got maybe Indy and Tennessee. That could be a good one. Once you get into the late window, there's not that many games that really stand out except the 49ers and the Eagles, the Chiefs, and the Packers on Sunday night. And then we do have a possible sleeper matchup for Monday night with Cincinnati and Jacksonville. That could end up being our game, Anthony. by all attempted purposes. So at the end, that could be our game, and we really got nothing more to add. So Anthony, back to you.
All right, MF. Let's move on to week number 14 now, and okay. Two teams on bye that week. The Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders will be on bye in week number 14. We got a good one here to start it off on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. Good one here. A renewal of another great rivalry when it comes to the AFC, and another rivalry that MF and I had a lot of fun with back in the day. The New England Patriots, Michael Bullock's New England Patriots, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh on Thursday night, December the 7th. And then the Sunday slate with 7 1 o'clock games. And here are those matchups. On CBS, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take on the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Fox will have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Also on Fox, the Detroit Lions will battle it out with the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Also on CBS, the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Carolina Panthers take on the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And then rounding out the 1 o'clock slate, the Houston Texans taking on the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. 2 4:05 games on Fox. The Minnesota Vikings taking on the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. That's another Super Bowl rematch. I believe that was Super Bowl 11 when those two teams squared off. Also on Fox, the Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. MF, I've easily found the game of the week for week 14.
Yep.
How about Allen and Mahomes one more time?
I would be, and here's the thing, I would not be surprised other than the people of Denver and the people of Los Angeles. I'm sorry, you guys. You're going to have to miss out on this one. But I think this is going to be for the rest of the country. Almost everybody is going to get this game when we're talking about the Chiefs and the Bills. The only reason why is, whenever there's that one matchup that CBS gives it to the whole country, I think this would be that game. KC and Buffalo in KC at 4:25. Like I said, I think the only people that are probably going to miss it because of that, because of the blackout rules and because of the regional locks that they do. Sorry to the fans of Denver and sorry to the fans of the LA Chargers, because you're going to have to miss that game because you're going to have your own game.
All right. So what I was getting at there, 4:25 on Fox, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, hands down the game of the week. Also at 4:25 on CBS, you have the Denver Broncos taking on the Los Angeles Chargers from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. And then Sunday Night Football, the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And then the third and final Monday Night Football doubleheader on Monday night, December the 11th. Both games will be kicking off at 8:15, but on different networks. At 8:15 on ESPN, the Tennessee Titans take on MF's Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Or if you want to switch over to ABC at 8:15, you will see the Green Bay Packers take on the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. So, not much more to say on that. So, MF, week number 14, what stands out to you?
I mean, we just talked about it. I mean, let's start right at the top. New England and Pitt. What a matchup that's going to be. What a game that's going to be. Like you said, that's legacy game. That's a legacy matchup more than anything else. So you got that one there. Then in the early window, maybe Cincinnati and Indianapolis would be a sleeper matchup for the fans out there. and there's really nothing else that stands out. Then once you get into the late games, this is where now you get the fun. You get the Seattle and the 49ers. That's a great matchup. Buffalo KC. There's nothing more to say. You get that matchup, it's over and done with. Sunday night, there's a crazy one with the Eagles and the Cowboys. You know how that goes. And an underrated Monday night one with possibly Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans versus the Miami Dolphins. So that game could take a life of its own more than anything else. So I really got nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Okay, so yep, let's take a look at it from my end. New England and Pittsburgh. MF, how many of those games did we have fun with back in the day?
I mean, so many matches, so many games. Yeah,
especially when it was Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
regular season, divisional playoffs, AFC championship games. We did it all, and it'll be fun to renew that rivalry once again. Rams in Baltimore, that's a great one right there. Odell Beckham Jr. against his former team in the Rams. Indy and Cincinnati, that's a sleeper matchup right there, as is Jacksonville and Cleveland. And then from there, Seattle and San Francisco, that's a good one. But hands down, the game of the week in Week 14, it's Buffalo and Kansas City. Every time they get together, you know something special is going to happen. MF, we saw these two in what ended up being only the greatest playoff game we ever saw. I mean, all those screaming Anthony Florio moments, especially at the end. I mean, you remember them. So, of course, we also have Philly and Dallas renewing acquaintances on Sunday Night Football that week. Tennessee and Miami, yeah, that could be a potential 2-game right there. Definitely will be in the top echelon, no doubt about it. But if all goes well, Ryan Tannehill against his former team in Miami. Because remember, Ryan Tannehill had some good years in Miami. So,
yes, he did.
So we'll see what happens. Derrick Henry going up against Tua, along with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So, we'll wait and see what happens. So, so there you have it. Week number 14. So, week number 15. Let's move on to week number 15, as we have 4 more weeks to go. Now, this is an interesting week in week number 15 because 5 of the games on this schedule have a date and time to be determined. So let's get those out of the way first and foremost. The Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. The Minnesota Vikings and the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. The Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. The Denver Broncos and the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. And the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. So, all right, those games are not scheduled, but here are the games that are scheduled for week number 15 at this time. Started off Thursday Night Football, Thursday, December 14th, Amazon Prime Video. The Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Las Vegas Raiders from the home of Super Bowl 58, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. 1 o'clock games. Wow. We only have 4, but keep in mind, those other games aren't scheduled yet. These 4 games are at 1 o'clock. First on Fox, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field in Green Bay. CBS at 1 o'clock. Jets Dolphins 2. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets taking on Tua and the Dolphins. MF's Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. On Fox at 1 o'clock, the New York Giants taking on the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. And then rounding it out, CBS 1 o'clock, the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. Late window, 2 4:05 games. They're both on CBS, and they're both NFC games. The San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium in Arizona. And also the Washington Commanders taking on the Los Angeles Rams from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. 2 4:25 games on Fox. This one, I reckon, will be America's game of the week. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium in Buffalo, rematch of Super Bowls 27 and 28. And then also at 4:25 on Fox, another good one. The Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. Sunday Night Football on NBC, sleeper matchup. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. A primetime game for Jacksonville. And then on Monday Night Football on Monday, December 18 at 8:15 on ESPN, the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs taking on Michael Bullock's New England Patriots from Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Bye week's end here. So, all right. So let's move on to week 15. Let's take a look at the standouts here. It starts with the Chargers and the Raiders. We'll see how that goes. Jets and Dolphins, that's an immediate standout. Aaron Rodgers against Tua, part 2, less than a month after their Black Friday matchup. We'll see how the records and the division standings go at that time. San Francisco and Arizona, that's got potential. Dallas and Buffalo, that's the standout game of week 15. It's on the other side, but that's a good one for them to have. Rematch of Super Bowls 27 and 28. That's going to be America's game of the week with Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olsen in them. Philly and Seattle, that's not a slouch either. When it comes to our side of the ledger, right now, the standouts for me, Jets and Miami, and then the final 2 games of week number 15, the Sunday nighter between Baltimore and Jacksonville. And also keep an eye on Kansas City and New England. That could be a good one too. So that's it for week 15. So MF, you heard it. 5 games that have no date and time. Those dates and times will be scheduled at a later day. But you see the rest of the slate for week 15. What stands out to you?
Yeah, just based off the ones that we have not gotten yet, the Vikings and the Bengals definitely would stand out for me. And maybe Pittsburgh and Indy. Those would be the 2 that are not currently scheduled. I have keep an eye on. But based on the ones that we do have announced and scheduled, Chargers and Raiders on the Thursday night could be a good one. Obviously, Jets, Miami. And then from there, obviously, once you get into the second half, then you're looking at 4 really good ones. The late games, Buffalo and Dallas, Philly versus Seattle. That one looks really good. Ravens and Jacksonville could be a good one. And then, of course, the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. Always a great matchup, always a great battle. That could be the one that could be defining more than anything else. So I really got nothing more to say. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Moving on now to week number 16. And let's run it down for week number 16 as we get close, as this will be coinciding with Christmas time. So we will have Thursday Night Football. There will be 2 games. 2 games will take place on Saturday night, December the 23rd, and then Sunday, December 24th. That's obviously Christmas Eve. Full slate of games, and then we're going to have a triple header on Christmas Day. So bye weeks are done with. So here we go. Christmas week, week 16. Here it is. It starts off with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video. Thursday night, December 21st. The New Orleans Saints take on the Los Angeles Rams from SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Here are the 2 games on Saturday, December 23rd. First, Saturday at 4:30 on NBC on Saturday, December 23rd. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers from Acrisure Stadium, Heinz Field, formerly in Pittsburgh. The other game will be at 8 o'clock, and this game will be exclusively on Peacock. Yeah, Peacock will exclusively have this game on Saturday night, December the 23rd, and we got a good one here. The Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills, taking on the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi. Ooh, that's a good one there. All right. Stocking stuffer time. Here we go. Here are the games you will be seeing on Christmas Eve, starting with the 1 o'clock games. On Fox, the Indianapolis Colts take on the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Also on Fox, the Green Bay Packers take on the Carolina Panthers from Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. On CBS, you will see the Cleveland Browns take on the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Detroit Lions take on the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. CBS, the final 2 1 o'clock games on CBS. The Washington Commanders take on the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium. And then also at 1 o'clock on CBS to round out the Week 16 1 o'clock slate. Good one here. The Seattle Seahawks taking on the Tennessee Titans from Nissan Stadium in Nashville. Late window, 4:05 on CBS. The Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. 4:25 on Fox. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. And then America's Game of the Week on Fox at 4:25. A rematch of Super Bowl VI. The Dallas Cowboys taking on MF's Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And then there is a Sunday Night Football game, but believe it or not, this game's not on NBC. It's actually on the NFL Network. Yeah, NFL Network will have this Sunday Night Football game on Christmas Eve night, and it will feature the Michael Bullock's New England Patriots taking on the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Mile High. All right, kiddies, stocking stuffers, Christmas Day. Here you go. Here's the triple header you'll be opening up. At 1 o'clock on CBS and Nickelodeon, it will be the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. On Fox at 4:30, a rematch of last year's divisional playoff, the New York Giants taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And then at 8:15 in prime time on ABC, oh boy, Santa gave us a good one here. Rematch of Super Bowl 47. The Baltimore Ravens taking on the San Francisco 49ers, Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. All right, MF, which stocking stuffers stand out to you during this Christmas week of Week 16?
Wow, that's a good one here.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, indeed. You start out with you start out with a really good one let's go all the way back to the top. I got to say that Saturday lineup is absolutely ridiculous. You got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, then the Buffalo Bills and the LA Chargers.
Could be our game.
That could be our game, no doubt. Then the 24th, all right, not the best lineup when you start out. It doesn't really get good until maybe you get until the late games. Early window, I don't see much there. Maybe Seattle and Tennessee might be one of the games.
Detroit, Minnesota.
Maybe Detroit, Minnesota, depending on how Detroit is. But the late game is the one that sticks out. Dallas, Miami. Yes. That's a classic battle, classic game. You know you're going to get something special. And then, Patriots and Broncos. You never know with that one. That could go up and down. I really don't have much of a thing about that one, to say the very least. So you got that. And behind that game, then you have the three great games on Christmas. Raiders and KC, Philly and the Giants, and the Ravens and the 49ers. Yo, you can't go wrong with those three games on Christmas. That's absolutely a phenomenal lineup. And to think they're going up against the NBA, because Christmas Day is always NBA.
That's
NBA basketball always ruled on Christmas. The NFL is like, let's get into this little fray here. So, so the NBA is probably a little annoyed right now because of the fact that the NFL is infringing on their territory. But nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, indeed. And as I look at it here, it starts with that Buffalo Charger game. That could end up being our game. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills against Justin Herbert and the Chargers. That's definitely an immediate standout right there. Christmas Eve, you could say we got a bit of a lump of coal here. Not too many exciting matchups. Detroit, Minnesota, that's one to keep an eye on. Seattle and Tennessee, I think those are the two big games when it comes to the early window. Late window, it's all about Dallas and Miami.
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
It's a rematch of Super Bowl VI that Dallas won, but you think of all the legends and Hall of Famers that have played for these two historic franchises, and looking at who we have here. I mean,
and go figure, Anthony. And as a matter of fact, you talk about holiday season. Remember '93 on Thanksgiving in the snow at Dallas between
snow
the
in
Dolphins?
Dallas, snow at Texas Stadium.
Yeah,
I still can't get over that.
I mean,
30 years later, I still can't get over that.
Yeah, and that's the matchup that everybody talks about. If you want to talk about holiday specials or that kind of a game,
the infamous Leon Lett game.
This is it.
Leon
This
Lett.
is one of those.
Leon Lett. No.
Yep.
I'll never forget that call.
Oh my goodness, Leon Lett.
Infamous. Yeah, you did your infamous blocked. It's blocked. Dallas wins it.
Yep.
And then your partner at the time said, no, something's happening here. You're like, oh my goodness. And then that's when we saw the replay, Leon Lett, and you know what happened.
Yep.
Miami got the ball. Stoyanovich kicks the winner. Miami steals one in Dallas on Turkey Day, and you celebrated it the ravishing way back then.
Yes, indeed.
So, and now Christmas Eve, you're going to be the standard bearer for Christmas Eve. So there's that, and then from there, the first game, I'm a little iffy on the first one, but the other two are good ones. Giants and Philly, and then in prime time, Baltimore and San Francisco. We remember the craziness of Super Bowl 47 now, don't we? I mean, the lights went out. Beyonce with that infamous halftime show where the lights went out, and oh my, but Baltimore and San Fran, that could be our game, MF. Think about it. We could end up having that one. That's very possible. Yep. Yeah, yep. I was actually watching it as we were doing this show. So all I can say is I'm sure Michael Bullock's got to be letting out a big old sigh of relief right about now.
Mm.
Hopefully we get him on here. Hopefully he'll join us soon enough.
Yeah.
But I do have a backup plan just in case, because we have plenty of time here. So
yeah,
I have a backup plan just in case. So but anywho, those are my standouts when it comes to week number 16. Buffalo and the Chargers, that could be our game. Very possible. Seattle and Tennessee could end up being our game. You don't know. And then Baltimore and San Francisco. I mean, those are easily the standouts when it comes to the Christmas week. So that's week 16. Let's get into week number 17, which will coincide with the New Year. It'll coincide with New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. So let's break it down here. I do believe this will be the season finale of Thursday Night Football, as far as I know. Okay, we got some good ones here. All right. And actually, there will not be a Monday Night Football game. We will not have a Monday Night Football game. Because it's going to be on New Year's Day. So there will not be a Monday Night Football game, obviously, because, New Year's, that's when the bowl games are going down. Mainly New Year's 6 bowls. So, including the granddaddy of them all, oh, by the way. So, but week 17, I see some good ones here already. Okay, we started off with what I presume will be the season finale of Thursday Night Football on Thursday night, December the 28th, to kick off week 17. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets will take on the Cleveland Browns from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Amazon Prime Video. And then a special Saturday night edition of Monday Night Football. It'll be Saturday Night Football instead. On Saturday night, December the 30th, simulcast on ESPN and ABC at 8:15. Good one here. The Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. from AT&T Stadium in Arlington. New Year's Eve, which features several. I think I see 10 1 o'clock games. And I see in the first two immediate standouts, both on CBS. The Miami Dolphins taking on the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. That coupled with the New England Patriots, Michael Bullock's New England Patriots, taking on my Buffalo Bills from Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. Also at 1 o'clock on CBS, the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. 1 o'clock on Fox, the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium in Houston. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Indianapolis Colts, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. 1 o'clock on CBS, the Carolina Panthers taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. And these remaining 1 o'clock games will all be on Fox. The Los Angeles Rams taking on the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford in the Meadowlands. Arizona Cardinals against the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia. New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa. And then to close out the 1 o'clock slate on New Year's Eve, the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Washington Commanders from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Late window, 4:05 on Fox, a rematch of Super Bowl 40. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. 2 4:25 games on CBS. We had the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in a Mile High. But MF, I've easily got our game for New Year's Eve. I can't think of a better way to ring in the new year with you than a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. Heck, a rematch of two of the last two AFC Championship games, as a matter of fact. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. And then to close it out, Sunday Night Football on New Year's Eve, the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings, US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. So, all right, week 17, Jets Cleveland, which I presume will be the season finale of Thursday Night Football on Prime Video. We'll see how that plays out. That looks like that could be a sleeper game right there. Detroit and Dallas, that's a good one on Saturday. That's the NFC sleeper matchup on that special Saturday night edition of Monday Night Football on December 30. New Year's Eve, Miami and Baltimore, that could be our game. New England and Buffalo, that could be our game. Need I remind you, MF, Miami and Baltimore, that instant classic that our number 2 crew had? I never in my life did I ever hear Kevin LaRoche go as nuts as he did on that game. Oh my God. It's almost like he took lessons from me. Oh my goodness. The way he was going crazy, him and Pop Sanderson, man. They had that Miami-Baltimore game last year, and I was worried he was going to lose his voice. He was so hyped, but
Yeah.
what a game. I mean, Baltimore looked like they were going to dominate, but MF, your Dolphins came storming back and stole that thing. I'm still scratching my head on that one, but it happened. New England and Buffalo, that could be our game. You don't know. It could come down to that. You don't know. Me and Bullock are ringing in the new year. Let's see. That's pretty much the only standout. Rams and Giants, that's another one to keep an eye on. Arizona and Philly, I suppose. And that's really the only games I can see out of the early window on New Year's Eve. Late window, Pittsburgh and Seattle, Super Bowl 40 rematch. We all remember how that one played out. But I think we all know what the game is. Barring the records being otherwise, MF, Burrow, Mahomes one more time.
Yes.
The AFC Championship rematch, Cincinnati, Kansas City, in Arrowhead. The last 2 AFC Championship games, Cincy winning 2 years ago, Kansas City getting their payback this year. So we'll see how that goes. And then Green Bay and Minnesota to round it out. So, all right, Michael Bullock is here. We'll catch him up in just a little bit. He's got a lot of catching up to do because we started so early tonight. Hang tight.
Very excited me, to say the very least.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Yeah.
Wonder what that could be.
Yeah. Something
Wink, wink.
that doesn't have to do with football related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Bullock, we'll get to you in a little bit. We'll catch you up, and we'll have you we're almost near the end here. But MF, you heard my side of the story when it comes to Week 17. What games do you look forward to ringing in the new year with, as this coincides with New Year's Eve and all that?
Dude, this is going to be a crazy week. This is absolutely amazing. There's no doubt about it with all the games that you have here. Obviously, at the very beginning, not much in the first couple of games, but then you get Miami and Baltimore. And, yeah, everybody's talking about the comeback that really started, that actually turned the season for the Miami Dolphins, if you remember. Because I think Miami lost the first couple of games. They didn't look good. And then there was that game against Baltimore. And that was the moment that, in the eyes of many Dolphin fans, we finally had our quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa had the game of his career on that day, went over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and carved up the Ravens' D. So that was the moment that everything turned, and basically practically the whole momentum shifted right before our very eyes. Buffalo and New England, obviously, Buddy Bowl. We don't really need to go there, but we got that one. Then once you get into the later schedule on the early window, not many games that really stands out. Maybe Cardinals and Eagles. That's an interesting one. But the night cappers are really where you get the really good battles. Pittsburgh and Seattle, sleeper matchup in Seattle. But Anthony, you even admitted it. I think this is one of those games where, again, like I was talking about with the Buffalo and KC, where I think almost the entire country will get to see this, except for certain parts of the country. I think it's going to happen again. I think almost 90 to 95% of the country, if you're on CBS, will get this game. Cincinnati versus KC. Anthony, I think we can pencil this in as our game as well. Well, wait and see how that plays out. And then a pretty good Sunday night game with the Green Bay versus Minnesota. Really nothing more to add. So, yeah. Anthony, do I toss it back to you so that you can talk to Bullock?
That is indeed what we do. So,
All right.
So, Michael Bullock, come on in. You got a lot to talk about here, my friends. So, because we started very early this evening. So here we go. You know what it is. The schedule, the NFL schedule came out today. And we've already gone through. We're already on weeks. We already just did week 17. So we got 17 weeks of thoughts from you to get through. So started off with week number 1. Look at the matchups and tell me what stands out to you for week number 1 and so forth.
All right. Well, for week 1, obviously, I mean, of course, the Chiefs obviously opening up the defense of their title. I mean, against the Lions, and I know people are not so happy about it, but here's the thing. The Lions, I mean, they finished strong and could have had a chance to make the playoffs. So who knows what to make of this Lions team. So maybe it could be a good one. We'll wait and see on that. And, of course, that always interstate battle with Cincinnati and Cleveland. Obviously, the Dolphins and the Chargers is another one. But the one game I'm going to have the most vested interest in, Anthony Florio, the Eagles and the Patriots. And you want to know why?
I can only imagine why. Talked about it earlier.
Because the GOAT is coming home. The Patriots plan on honoring Tom Brady for their home opener, first week of the season. I mean, and it's a 4:25 game at Gillette. So come on, Florio. I think we all know who's going to do this one, especially since they're honoring Tom Brady.
Hello, friends.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo doing this one.
Along with Tracy.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, because nobody's covered Tom Brady more than Jim Nantz, And with them honoring him, you know they gotta be the ones to call this game. And all I can say is the tickets are gonna fly by so quickly when you know there's gonna be a lot of Patriot fans that are gonna want to attend this one. So, but then of course the one that I think is gonna be the game of the week, Monday Night Football, Florio. It's your Buffalo Bills going up against the New York Jets and the debut of Aaron Rodgers.
Indeed. So, all right. So you see the matchups for week number 1. So move on to week number 2. What do you see?
All right, for week 2, obviously the first Thursday night game of the year with the Vikings and the Eagles. That's one I definitely got an eye on. Of course, a rematch of the divisional matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Ravens and the Bengals is obviously another intriguing matchup. Another one I obviously see here. You got the Jets and the Cowboys. Rodgers against Prescott. Obviously, the first, of course, the Buddy Bowl, the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. So, yeah, those are the games that pretty much stand out to me when it comes to week number 2.
All right. What stands out to you for week number 3?
All right, week number 3, Patriots, Jets, Mac Jones, and Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be interesting to see. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, of course, it's going to be us against Rodgers for twice a year, so that's going to be something to see there. And as I scroll down here, I mean, I see the Chargers and the Vikings could be another good one. I mean, the Eagles and the Buccaneers when it comes to Monday Night Football. Let's see what else I see here. Yeah, so those are just some of the games that that literally catch my eye when it comes to week 3. So now when it comes to week 4, Florio, as we move into that now, obviously Lions and Packers for Thursday Night Football, and of course, Anthony, you know what I think of when it comes to Lions and Packers.
Was that Bullock?
You know what it comes to whenever you think of the Lions and Packers Thursday night.
Yes, the Rodgers connection, absolutely.
The one that really made Jim Nantz go crazy.
Oh yeah.
And of course, the Dolphins and the Bills, another Buddy Bowl matchup here. Obviously, you got the Buccaneers and the Saints, another interstate matchup. The Raiders and Chargers, the Patriots against the Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Jets. So those are the week 4 matchups for me. Now, when it comes to week number 5 here, let's see. When it comes to, obviously, the Ravens and the Steelers, always no matter how good or how bad they are, it's always an intriguing rivalry. The Giants and the Dolphins is another one I'm definitely looking forward to seeing. The Chiefs and the Vikings, the Cowboys and the 49ers. Of course, you all always think about some of the great matchups that they've had in the past. Of course, the Packers and the Raiders on Monday Night Football. So that's it for week 5. Now on to week number 6. The matchups that I'm interested in. Let's take a look here. I see some good ones here. I mean, you got of course, the Sunday night game with the Giants and the Bills. Of course, the Eagles and the Jets is another game. Yeah, so Of course, we got the international series. We got the Ravens and the Titans here. So yeah, so that's it for when it comes to week 6. Now on to week number 7. As I take a look here, obviously, well, Florio, it's the first meeting of the year between the Bills and the Patriots. Can't wait for that one. And then of course, you got the Chargers and the Chiefs here. That's another one. You got the Dolphins and the Eagles. 49ers and Vikings for Monday Night Football. So yeah, and so now we go on to week number 8. Buccaneers and Bills on Thursday Night Football. Of course, Patriots and Dolphins is another game there. Of course, the Jets and the Giants. It's always fun when those two always when they go at it. And of course, the Vikings and the Packers. That's another one. Of course, with the history with those two. The Bengals and the 49ers. That's going to be a good one. And so that's it for week 8. Now on to week number 9. We got another international series. We got the Dolphins and the Chiefs. And we take a look here. We got some other good ones here. We got the Cowboys and the Eagles, and of course the Sunday night game, the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. And Florio, your team is really looking forward to that one because there's only one game that literally sticks to you. That's that divisional matchup because I know your team wants retribution.
And let's also not forget they're meeting in Cincinnati, and let's hope and pray to God that nothing like what happened to Damar Hamlin happens to him or anybody else in this game come that game.
Oh yeah. We definitely can't forget about that too. So, and then of course the Chargers and the Jets. That's going to be a good one. And then of course for week number 10, another international series, but this one is going to be in Berlin, Germany. With the Colts.
That's actually Frank. It's actually Frankfurt.
But either way, it's in Germany. But the only reason why I say that because here's a little bit of a promo thing. Of course, the Special Olympics World Summer Games will be in Berlin, Germany this summer, so that's why I was thinking of it. So it's going to be in Frankfurt, Germany, and of course, another one that I'm interested in, the Packers and the Steelers, especially with the history with those two. The Browns and Ravens, that's a divisional matchup there. The Giants and the Cowboys should be another good one. The Jets and the Raiders, that's another good one. And of course, the Giants and the Cowboys. So that's it for week 10. Now it's on to week number 11. And of course, the Bengals and the Ravens kick off the Thursday night slate for week number 11. Steelers and Browns, that's a rivalry game right there. Raiders and Dolphins, that's another one there. The Chargers and the Packers should be a good one there. Buccaneers and 49ers. Jets and Bills. But this time in Buffalo. And of course, the big one that's going to be the highlight, Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl rematch, boys. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's it for week 11. Now when it comes to week 12, well, let's just say, Florio, we're going to do things for Turkey Day. We got some Turkey Day matchups.
You know how we do it.
The ravishing way. Yes, I know you're going.
You damn right.
We got the Packers and the Lions going at it. And, of course, the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. and the 49ers and the Seahawks to wrap up the Thanksgiving slate. And then we actually have a game on Black Friday with the Dolphins and the Jets, and that's going to be on Prime Video. So, and then of course when it comes to the Sunday slate, you got the Steelers and the Bengals. We all know about the hostility that these two have for each other. And then of course the New England Patriots and the New York Giants. A lot of history. Of course, all you gotta say is Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46. Enough said on that. The Bills and the Eagles. I know you're definitely looking forward to that one, Florio, to get at the NFC champions.
That could be a Super Bowl. That could be a preview of Super Bowl 58. You never know.
It could be. And of course, the Ravens and the Chargers for Sunday Night Football. And then on to week number 13. Of course, we got the Chargers and the Patriots. That's a game that's going to have a lot of interest for me. The 49ers and the Eagles, the NFC Championship rematch. The Chiefs and the Packers, that we'll see how it goes with that. So, and then when it comes to week number 14, Patriots and Steelers, of course, kicking off on Thursday Night Football in week number 14. We got some other good ones here. Seahawks, 49ers, we all know about that. The Bills and the Chiefs, we all know about that one. They have developed a little bit of a rivalry there. The Eagles and the Cowboys, and then we got the Packers and Giants on Monday Night Football. So now to week 15, it'll be, of course, the Chargers and the Raiders. Jets and Dolphins, that's a good one there. And then, of course, the Cowboys and the Bills, that's another good one. The Ravens and the Jaguars. And Chiefs and Patriots, of course, on Monday Night Football. Week number 16. Yeah, as far as week number 16 goes, of course, it kicks off with the Saints and the Rams. Then we got a doubleheader on Saturday, December 23rd. On NBC, we got the Bengals and the Steelers at 4:30, and then at 8 o'clock on exclusively on Peacock, it'll be the Bills and the Chargers. So yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see with that. And then of course, as you take a look here, Cowboys and Dolphins, that's going to be a good one there. And of course, for Christmas, on Christmas Eve, and we got a triple header on Christmas Day. We got the Raiders and the Chiefs, and of course, that's going to be a game on CBS and Nickelodeon. And of course, I'll never forget last year's game on Christmas Day, where I don't know about you, Florio, but what are your thoughts on Jim Nantz and Tony Romo wearing Christmas sweaters?
Interesting.
Well, I think you might be seeing that again this Christmas.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And of course, then we got the Giants and the Eagles on Fox, and then ABC with Monday Night Football with the Ravens and the 49ers. And of course, week 17, as you guys just covered, of course, we got the Lions and the Cowboys Saturday on ABC and ESPN. And then New Year's Eve, we got the Dolphins and the Ravens, Patriots and Bills once again. And as I scroll through, oh yeah, the Bengals and the Chiefs, the AFC Championship rematch. And of course, the Packers and the Vikings. So I think I'm pretty much all caught up, Florio. So now I guess it's on to the last one, week number 18.
Yes, indeed it is. And good old MF Michael Fletcher will start it off for Week 18. And you know what it means for Week 18, gentlemen? All divisional matchups. Every game is a divisional game. And here are those games. Obviously, the day and time to be determined, but it will coincide with January 7th. Well, I'm sure there's going to be games on the Saturday. Yes, in Week 18, 2 games will be played on Saturday, January 6th, one at 4:30 and one at 8:15, with the remainder to be played on Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. and 4:25, and one matchup to be played on Sunday Night Football. Specific dates, start times, and networks for Week 18 matchups will be determined and announced following the conclusion of week number 17. So if this is out of order, don't worry about it. All right, in no particular order, here we go, gentlemen. The Week 18 divisional games as follows. Seattle Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Baltimore Ravens from M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the Carolina Panthers, Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. The Battle of Ohio, the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, Paycor Stadium, not Paul Brown Stadium, Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati. Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit. The NFL's oldest rivalry renewed one more time, the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. The Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. That's a standout right there. Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders from the home of Super Bowl 58, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. This could be the game right here. The Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills against MF's Miami Dolphins from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. The New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers take on Michael Bullock's New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints from the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants from MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands. Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Nissan Stadium, Nashville. And to round it out, the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders at FedEx Field. MF, the final week of the regular season, Week 18, all divisional week as we know. Which of these divisional matchups stand out to you?
Well, honestly, I would say right now, Pittsburgh and Baltimore definitely stands out. You can also say Chargers and Chiefs also stands out. Obviously, Miami and Buffalo and the Jets and New England definitely stand out. Then also you got the Eagles and the Giants, the Rams and the Niners, and the Jaguars and the Titans. I think all those are standout matchups for Week 18. Remember, they're all divisional, so we would have seen them once early in the year. We get to see them the second time around. So, yeah. Michael Bullock, it's all yours, my friend.
Bullock, are you there? Oh, all right. I think we might have lost Michael Bullock for a moment. Waiting for him to come back in to give us his standout divisional matchups of week number 18. So while we wait for Bullock to come back in, I guess I'll take it for a spin for a moment. Bullock, let me know when you're back in and ready, and then we'll give it over to you for the week 18 matchups. So here we go. When it comes to my perspective of a week number 18, I would say maybe Seattle, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago and Green Bay, because that's a legacy thing, obviously. Kansas City and the Chargers, that could be our game right there. Buffalo and Miami, that's the standout of all the divisional games. Jets and New England's another one to keep an eye on. Philly and the Giants, that's a good one there. Rams and San Francisco, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Dallas, Washington. Very interesting divisional slate for week number 18. So we are awaiting Michael Bullock to rejoin us here, and we'll get Bullock's thoughts on the standout matchups for week number 18. Okay, Bullock.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, week 18 divisional games. What stands out?
Yeah, did Fletch already talk about it?
He did.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like you said, week 18, I mean, especially with this being all divisional matchups, it's obviously with Steelers and the Ravens, that's one that, especially if it has any playoff implications here. The Chiefs and the Chargers, that's another one. The Bears and the Packers, the Bills and the Dolphins, the Jets and the Patriots, that's another one there. The Eagles and the Giants, the Jaguars and the Titans, and of course the Cowboys and the Commanders. So all those games there are the ones that really interest me. So I think that's pretty much it, Florio, for the scheduled release for 2023. But now, Florio, I think it's time to switch gears now.
Yeah, we are indeed going to switch gears, and since we have a little bit of time, there's one other thing I want to get into real quick since it's going down this weekend. How about we preview the XFL Championship, gentlemen, because that's going to be going down this Saturday night. I'll get the details on that in just a moment, but like I said, to close it out for week number 18, from my end, Seattle, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Chicago, Green Bay for the legacy, Minnesota, Detroit, Kansas City and the Chargers, Buffalo, Miami, Jets, New England, Philly, Giants, Rams, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Dallas, Washington. So that's that. Let's also quickly set it up. The weekend of Saturday, January 13, Sunday, January 14, and Monday, January 15, Martin Luther King Day. That will be the super wild card round of the playoffs. And then Saturday, January 20th and Sunday, January 21st will be the divisional playoffs. And then Sunday, January 28th will be the conference championships. AFC championship starts it. NFC championship in prime time. Week after that, February the 4th, I believe that will be the Pro Bowl. And then Sunday night, February the 11th, from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Super Bowl 58. And we can't wait to cover it all. The season premiere of our NFL show will be on Saturday night, September the 9th. Mark that down. Saturday, September 9th. The season premiere of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday. Looking forward to bringing you another great season of NFL action. So that's the story there. So gentlemen, while we have a couple of minutes here, let's quickly get into the XFL championship game that will be going down this Saturday night from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. It will be exclusively on ABC, as it will feature the Arlington Renegades squaring off against the DC Defenders. Alamo Dome, San Antonio. The 2023 XFL Championship set to kick off on Saturday night at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, as the Arlington Renegades and the DC Defenders will battle it out at 8 p.m. on ABC for the championship. Based on the odds from a couple of weeks ago, many fans thought it would have been the Houston Roughnecks and the DC Defenders facing off for the XFL Championship. However, the Arlington Renegades, who are 6.5-point underdogs in the South Division title game, had other ideas, taking down Houston 26-11 in dominating fashion. Arlington was not the best offensive team in the league, but it added former Vegas Viper quarterback Luis Perez late in the season, giving them new life. Meanwhile, the Defenders defeated the Seattle Sea Dragons 37-21 to take home the North Division crown. DC has shown throughout the season that they were the team to beat in the XFL and are only one game away from winning it all. Before the regular season began, the Defenders were a long shot to win the XFL championship at plus 700, while the Renegades were one of the favorites at plus 465. When these teams met in Week 9, the Defenders escaped with a 28-26 overtime win. So here we go. Arlington and Houston, Saturday night, or I should say Arlington and DC. Saturday night, 8 o'clock. DC opening up as a 6.5-point favorite. Alamo Dome, San Antonio. Here we go. When these two teams played each other in Week 9, the Defenders looked in control for most of the game, but the Renegades would not go away. Perez made plays late in the fourth quarter to get the game in overtime, completed 31 of 41 passes for 335 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Perez put up a similar line in the Renegades South Division Championship win over Houston, completing 19 of 27 for 289 yards and 3 touchdowns. The veteran signal caller looked comfortable under center and had no fear throwing downfield. Perez will need to play that way against an aggressive but vulnerable DC defense. In the last 5 games of the regular season, the defenders allowed 30 points a game. However, we know this Greg Williams coach defense will force some turnovers as well. Defenders quarterback Jordan Tiamu, who won the XFL's Offensive Player of the Year award, threw 2 interceptions in the team's win over Seattle a couple of weeks ago. Tiamu must watch out for Renegades defensive backs Devontae Bosby, Will Hill, and Joe Powell, the latter of which finished second in the XFL with 4 interceptions. We know that the defenders like to run, but it won't be easy against an Arlington defense that allowed the second fewest rushing yards in the league at 84.3. In their Week 9 overtime win, the defenders only mustered 50 total rushing yards. The defenders' ground game must get off to a good start on Saturday night, or they risk becoming a one-dimensional offense. There's something poetic about Perez and Tiamu facing off against each other for the XFL championship, as they both rose to prominence in the XFL a few years ago and played against each other in the USFL last year. Saturday's game should be a good matchup, as the Renegades proved against Houston that they're better than a 4-win team. However, the defenders have been the best team from the start, and if they don't play with their food, they should win in San Antonio. So my winners and XFL champions 2023, the DC Defenders, they win the XFL championship. My final score, 27-22. The DC Defenders defeat the Arlington Renegades and capture the XFL championship. Nothing more to say here. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, XFL championship, Saturday night. Who you got?
All right. You know what? I'm going to go with the DC Defenders. I think DC is going to win the title. They've been one of the most consistent teams all season long. Offensively, I've been respecting them. Defensively, because of Greg Williams, a Greg Williams defense. I love that side. The blitzing, their details that they do on the defensive side has been unbelievable. I think DC gets it. I think they finish it off. I got the DC Defenders winning the XFL championship. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a good game here. I mean, both of them are deserving of being here, but I got to go with the DC Defenders to win this one and become the XFL champions. I'm going to go 27-24 is my final score in this one. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on, Florio.
All right, Bullock, now it's time. I know you've been chomping at the bits for this one, but here we go. One last order of business tonight, and that is the Celtics chat. And this is going to be a very happy Celtics chat. Tonight was Game 6 of the Eastern Conference semifinal series between Michael Bullock's Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers up 3-2. Sixers with a win would close it out and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since they went to the NBA Finals in 2001. Unfortunately for the Sixers, that did not happen. Michael Bullock, your Celtics live to see another day, just like they did 1 year ago in Milwaukee. They win a big-time road playoff game. They did it again. Am I surprised by this? No, I am not, because this is one of the many reasons why they got to the finals last year. The Boston Celtics steal Game 6 in Philadelphia. They win it by a final score of 95-86, closing the game on a 14-1 run to win it. And they forced the series back to Boston for a winner-take-all Game 7 that will take place on this Mother's Day Sunday. So, depending on the time of it, we don't know if it'll interfere with any of the Mother's Day plans, but I can tell you this, the Game 7 edition of the Celtics chat, win or lose, will take place this Monday night as part of Ridiculously Raw. So, all right. Jason Tatum missed his first 6 3-pointers before he drilled 2 straight clutch ones late in the game that pushed the Celtics past the Philadelphia 76ers 95-86 tonight to send this series back to Boston for a winner-take-all Game 7 on Mother's Day Sunday night. The defending conference champs are in familiar territory. Boston trailed 3-2 last season in the second round against Milwaukee, before winning Game 6 on the road and the clincher at home. Tatum, who averaged 30 points in the regular season, never stopped shooting, even as the misses kept coming. He missed 14 of his first 15 shots overall from the floor, and his ineffectiveness was a key reason the Celtics couldn't hold a 16-point lead. With a shot at their first conference final since 2001 at stake, the Sixers slogged through the first half before Joel Embiid flashed his MVP form and rallied the Sixers to a fourth quarter lead. Tyrese Maxey hit 2 free throws with 5:25 left for an 83-81 edge, and that was it for Philly. Tatum buried 1-3 for an 84-83 lead, and a second that made it 87-83 and put the Celtics in firm control of Game 6. Embiid and Tyrese Maxey each scored 26 for the Sixers. Sixers coach Doc Rivers has blown 3-1 series lead over his playoff career. While the Sixers never got that far ahead, this is their second loss at home in the series, and they seemingly had seized momentum in the fourth quarter. Tatum instead stuck it to the Sixers with one final 3-point dagger for a 95-84 lead. Boston started 6'10" Robert Williams instead of Derek White. Williams started his first postseason game of the season. Joe Mazzulla said he made the change because Rob gives us a lift. And Harden finished 4 of 16, 0 for 6 behind the arc. So let's break down the numbers. Or should I say, let's break down the box score here. Marcus Smart led the Celtics with 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Jason Tatum, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Okay. Jaylen Brown, 17 points, 6 rebounds for him. Robert Williams had 10 points and 9 rebounds. Al Horford, 2 points, 11 rebounds. Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, 16 points, 6 rebounds. And Derek White with 9 points off the bench. For Philly, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey each with 26 points. Embiid had 26 points and 10 rebounds. Let's see. James Harden only 13 points. He had 9 assists and 7 rebounds to go with it, though. Nothing really much off the bench here. So let's go to the team numbers here and break it down here. Celtics shot 42.3% from the field. Philadelphia 36.1. Boston 15 of 35 from 3. Almost 43% from 3-point range. This is what killed Philly here. Philly was only 8 of 34 from 3, 23.5%. Not going to get it done. Sixers from the free throws, 18 of 19 from the line, almost 95% for Philly. Boston, 14 of 16, 87.5%. Rebounding edge, both teams had 6 offensive rebounds each, but Boston had the defensive rebound edge, 44-32. Overall, 50-38, the rebound edge for Boston. Assists, that went to Boston, 22-18. Steals, that was all Philadelphia, 14-7 for Philly in the steals. Philly had 7 blocks, Boston 6. Sixers committed 12 turnovers, Celtics committed 18, but the Celtics outscored the Sixers on the turnovers 18-11. Fast break points, 24-18 in favor of Boston. Points in the paint, 36-32 in favor of Boston. Sixers committed 13 fouls, Celtics committed 14. Nobody committed any technical fouls, no flagrant fouls either. Philly's largest lead was 5, Boston's largest lead 16. Michael Bullock, somehow, some way, it looked a little dicey at the end, but somehow, some way, your Celtics found a way to get it done. They steal Game 6. They forced the series back home to Boston. Winner take all. Game 7, Mother's Day Sunday. Michael Bullock, could this possibly be a deja vu from last year in Milwaukee all over again? It could be.
It could be. I mean, but you still can't undersell the Sixers. I mean, especially when you got the MVP on the other side. But I mean, they got Game 7 at home. And the thing is, I felt like this game was going to go 7 games. I just had that feeling. But man, oh man, I mean, Jason Tatum tonight. I mean, he struggled early, but to me, he showed up in the fourth quarter when he did, and I mean, what he did in that fourth quarter is the reason why the Celtics were able to win this game. I mean, Marcus Smart, I mean, what a game he had. I mean, it was a bounce back game also for Malcolm Brogdon. And Yeah, Robert Williams had a solid game. I mean, like you said, with 10 points and 9 rebounds, and yeah, they were able to hold the Philly from doing a lot from 3-point range, and yeah, James Harden didn't have a good game at all, and man, big win, big win for them, and yeah, and as I can see right here, I mean, like in the fourth quarter, Jason Tatum outscored the entire Philadelphia 76ers team. The Sixers team had 13 points alone in that fourth quarter. Jason Tatum had 16 by himself. And he played that entire fourth quarter. Yes, I'm sure he's not happy with the way he started. And I'll tell you what, I think he's going to be motivated going into this game 7, especially since it's at the Garden. I smell a big game from him. So all I can say is can't wait to see what happens with game 7. I mean, could the Celtics do it again? I think they could, but we'll wait and see what happens. So, Fletch, you have any quick thoughts? And all I can say is, I mean, they played big in that fourth quarter. I mean, especially Jason Tatum. It was a struggle early, but man, oh man, he showed up when the Celtics really needed him.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. They won this game because they won the fourth quarter. If it wasn't for the fourth quarter, we'd be talking about the demise of the Boston Celtics. But they hung tough, and Philly literally imploded right before our very eyes. They got frustrated. They felt some calls went against them. It looked like they were fighting 3 different battles, and Boston they were level-headed. They didn't lose their cool. They were able to get the job done, and they won it. That's as good of a win that you're going to get. And to me, congratulations. That was a tremendous performance for Boston, and there's really nothing more to add. We're going Boston, Philly is about to have the 2 greatest words in sports. Game 7. My goodness, Saturday night cannot come soon enough. So that's
Sunday.
all I'm going to.
It's Mother's Day Sunday.
It's Sunday, yeah. So Sunday. So
Happy Mother's Day.
oh yeah, guys, it's yours.
All right, and with that,
Yeah, and I just heard Florio that the time of Game 7 will be determined after tomorrow's games.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. But regardless, though, the Game 7 Celtics chat will be on. We will have that this Monday night on Ridiculously Raw. So with that will put the bow on this very special edition of TXN Sports World, our 2023 NFL schedule release special, our preview of the XFL Championship and the Celtics chat. We want to thank you all so very much for spending this time with us this evening. Your support your love and support means the world to us. We can't stress that enough. We'll be back with you tomorrow night, 10 or 10:30 tomorrow night, MF, for the Cerebral Smack Talk.
10:30.
10:30, okay. 10:30 tomorrow night, back to our normal time. 10:30 tomorrow night, the Cerebral Smack Talk, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher. And I believe it's only Friday Night SmackDown, unless MF you have anything in the Mikey's mindset you want to share with us.
Right now, all I just have is just the SmackDown. So yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick show.
Yeah, it will be a pretty quick show tomorrow night. So Friday Night SmackDown, and that's it. The SmackDown fallout from Backlash, obviously. No show on the weekend, and then we'll be back with you after that on Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw review. Of course, we'll also have the Celtics chat, the Game 7 edition of the Celtics chat, and my Tony's Take, time permitting. That'll be on Monday. Wednesday, we have the Wednesday Night Madness, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher. NXT, AEW Dynamite. And then next week, TXN Sports World. We don't know what's on the docket yet, but we'll see what happens with that. We don't know, but we'll see. And that's it. So until tomorrow night for an abbreviated edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF channel, Race 395, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching this very special edition of TXN Sports World our 2023 NFL schedule release special right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.